we got numbers.
Hey, it's Cleveland Moto Podcast 475. That's 4 3/4 if you're paying attention. Or if you're a Cadillac fan. That's also one of the motors Cadillac put out a long, long time ago. 475. Well, you know what? Let's light them up, boys.
Oh.
I know. Mine's got no ice in it either.
Look, I got a fancy cocktail that Phil made me.
I made you a good cocktail.
I know.
Because I love you.
But because I bought fake rum. Yeah, so I'm not drinking. But yeah.
God, fucking Tom and I both took a swig at the same time and we both went hack.
Oh God, yeah, no,
Yeah.
no. This thing has been shaken up or something.
So to my immediate left,
Sean Noel.
Sean, you brought us 2 bottles tonight,
Yep.
Sean. You're not going to get let off the hook because you brought 2 different bottles.
Yep.
The first one I want you to describe to my listeners is number 10.
Well, so kind of going off a little memory, I remember something. There was like
It's a bourbon.
a pepper. It's a bourbon.
Yeah,
it's
it's a
a
bourbon.
higher proof. It's part of
It's definitely cask strength.
cast strength watershed
Yep.
special sweet.
I wish
playing card
Dan
sweet.
was here right now.
Playing card sweet.
Yeah, you know
series.
what? Dan with the Glaswegians right now is missing out.
Yeah,
But this has got notes of black pepper.
yeah. Black pepper, pomegranate was in there too.
Something, yeah.
It's just really. It has a bitterness to it.
It's got, you know what? As my wife would say, this is a very adult bourbon.
Yeah. It's not your starter bourbon.
This is not your starter
No,
bourbon.
it's not the starter.
This is not Jack Daniels.
No.
This
No,
is
no,
not
no.
your first
It's
Jim Beam.
Not a mass appeal
No.
thing,
No.
but it's just I thought
God.
like if I were gonna like motor oil my bourbon a
Yeah.
little bit.
Yeah.
You know, I thought, what do I want to bring?
I don't
tonight?
smoke cigars, but this is giving me a strong craving.
The box is sitting right
Right?
here.
No.
I'm ready
Oh
to
my
go.
fucking God. All right, and to Sean's immediate left.
Steve Sleepy.
And
I'm having a problem.
He's having a problem.
Are you all right?
He's got just pocket problems.
I grabbed one thing and everything exploded out of my
That's how
pocket.
you can
I
tell
had
you're an
no-
old white guy. Cargo pockets.
Yeah.
Cargo pants.
Oh, purse pants.
To his immediate left,
Speedy Pete.
Speedy Pete.
Woo.
Speedy Pete showed up on
Honda Monkey.
Honda Monkey.
My monkey's been a little mad at me lately because I've been riding the Hunter Cub all summer.
Oh,
So I had to get the old
It's a mad monkey.
out and give it some love, yeah.
That is truly sibling rivalry.
mad
Yeah, that's
monkey.
exactly what it was, yeah.
Sibling rivalry. And behind the bar,
And
Tom?
wait, Monkey got new shoes yesterday.
Monkey got new shoes.
Yeah.
which one should you get?
I put some Mitas.
Oh, yeah, the Mitas, yeah.
I forget what make they are, but yeah.
We are having half of our Vespas
Yep.
are coming in with Mitas,
Really?
and so that's pretty strong considering that City Grip.
Are we talking 300s and 150s?
No, I think just 150.
Just 150s.
Probably going to
Yeah.
be the 150s and maybe what the new Liberty come in with.
That doesn't matter.
Okay. Well,
Vietnam doesn't matter.
Vietnam
They're
doesn't
round
matter.
and black. Doesn't matter.
round and black.
Right. Yeah. You can't make that tire go. You can't make that bike go through tires. You can't make that bike care about tires.
You know,
it's big 16-inch
you know,
wheels.
The more
Yeah.
like I said,
Yeah.
it's the best deal going right now.
It is the best deal going right now
in scooters.
Right.
And
if
the more
you
I
only
look
have
at those,
$3,500 to
like
spend on
I
a
want
bike,
to put
yeah.
like Bridgestone BTs on it and see what that thing will do.
You know what I learned?
don't have to, yeah.
I learned this week my new bike came with brand new Corsa Rosa.
Yeah, Rosa Corsa.
Oh, yeah.
Or Rosa Corsa
Yeah, those-
V6s or something.
Those are going to last 1,200 miles.
Dude, they are insane though. They are insane.
My personal rule on those tires is, while they're cold,
Yeah.
you don't trust them.
Nope.
Right.
But then once they become warm, they become your best friend ever.
Yeah.
And then you get off that bike and get another bike and you die. Yep.
I was going to say when it comes time to replace them, you're going to replace them with something a little bit more
Well,
Affordable.
like I said, 1,200 miles, you're going to want a new tire.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
I mean, like, but that bike is only for going down.
Yeah,
You know,
exactly.
400 miles. So you get what? Maybe 4 weekends of twisties. Okay. I didn't pay for them. They're on the plane.
Right, they were here. They were there when I showed up.
It's
Yeah.
good
Did we
for
cover your new bike last week, or is this the first week?
We talked a bit about
We're
it.
gonna
we talked-
cover it a
we'll
little
get
bit
there.
more.
Okay.
today.
So anyway,
We'll
Tom,
talk about it.
anyway, Tom Pennington behind the bar.
Tom is behind the bar. Yes.
So let's go on. Let's move on.
Tom and I. So a gentleman shows up at the shop with a bike, what I would only describe as being not even due for its first oil change yet.
A time capsule?
No, a brand new
different
bike.
one. Oh, different.
brand new
No,
bike.
no.
This brand new Vespa he buys, and it is straight up like less than 6 months old.
Yep.
Maybe 4 months old, and he's almost ready for his first adult oil change, 3,000 miles.
What
right?
bike was this again?
It's a Primavera.
Oh,
150.
Yeah,
Yeah.
150.
So it's a 150. He goes, But the front end feels kind of weird. And so I looked at his front tire, and it was it looked like a basket of crabs. There was not a right angle anywhere. It was all just chopped and scallops, and it was just seafood buffet in the front end. The front tire had not had a good life, to which I immediately thought, dude, you should probably check your tires for air at least every 30 days. But then I realized he'd only owned the bike for 45 days.
Yeah.
Oh, that's odd. So I checked his pressure, and his pressure was DOB, dead on balls accurate. So I looked at his rear tire, or what was left of it. His back tire looked like, well, smooth. His back tire was completely devoid of traction.
You could see the air
Yeah.
through the rubber.
Yeah.
Oh.
You could tell how old the air was inside the tire by looking at it. So, I mean, I'm guilty of that too.
Yeah, we're not going to talk about Tiki Bike yet.
Oh, no, I fucked up. Well, that was strategic. But this poor guy was like, I was like, oh, so it's time for your first oil change and apparently $400 worth of tires, along with your first oil change.
Yeah.
How did he accomplish this?
Yeah, explain, right?
I'm going to. So I said, well, this guy must be a criminal rear brake abuser. Like the guys who are terrified of using the front brake because they'll go over the handlebars. But no, his front tire was equally shitty. So his front tire had achieved what I would consider 80% wear, 20% remaining. His back tire had negative 5% remaining.
Yeah.
Right? No shit. Like don't even ride this through a puddle.
Like there's
Yeah.
a couple of rocks in our parking lot.
Yeah.
Don't hit those.
No, don't hit those. Don't hit anything sharper than a pebble.
And how many miles?
Under 3K.
Wow.
And those are Mitas.
Wow.
So, little tip from your Unky Phil. Before everybody jumps on Mitas's dick about how they're the greatest tires on the planet or whatever, we've got 2 of them in our trash at our shop. You're welcome to inspect.
Yep.
The guy's odometer is not broken.
Yep.
He's throwing down a wicked 12.4 horsepower.
Yep.
He cannot do smoky burnouts. And he has less than 3,000 miles on these tires.
Now, is there any chance that they're redoing his roads around where he lives and he was
Only
riding?
if they're doing them with cheese graters. Right.
Wait,
So-
what model Mitas was this? Do you know?
I don't know. Whatever comes factory
Meet
on a Vespa.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, on the other hand, if you buy a CST, not the Changshin, but the CST version, they'll last for like 70,000 miles.
Right. Right. But kidding aside, on a note of safety, just because your motorcycle's brand new doesn't mean you're going to get 10,000 miles out of your tires.
No.
Our friend Ryan over at Fort 9 did this really interesting story in one of his episodes about how maybe the tires that you buy off the shelf with a certain model number are different than the tires that came on your motorcycle.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
You and I had this discussion.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah, we
and,
did.
and we have plenty of evidence to
With
support
this,
it.
we were talking about we were going for the Super Cubs at the
And
time we were talking about it.
And this idea that at least in this one application that Tom and I both have experienced, like we both saw it.
Yep.
I promise you that if this tire that has achieved 2,800 miles of wear and is now garbage
Yeah.
under a 12 horsepower bike with a 190 pound rider who is using his front brake, I checked the tires, and there's nothing about these that suggests that they've been underinflated their entire use. I promise you. I know my tires. What I'm suggesting is that Mitas has decided to sell a very large contract of theirs, probably over 100,000 tires, a substandard grade tire as an OEM tire to save the manufacturer some money or to make a built-in profit for Mitas. I think it's probably more column 2 than column 1.
Well, that's what I was going to ask. Like, do
Little
you think the manufacturers are aware that they're getting a cheaper tire, or is Mitas
Well, I'm
just
pretty
being-
sure the manufacturers are aware they're getting a cheaper tire because they chose to do it.
Well-
and there's a reason that
But do you think
on
they
half of their
negotiated?
bikes there are Michelin City Grip Mark IIs,
Yeah. Right.
which are a very good tire that lasts 7,000 or 8,000 miles.
Yeah.
But on this bike right here, I can promise you, this bike did not get beyond 3,000 miles before the back
crazy.
tire was straight up garbage.
Wow.
Yeah. So be fucking aware of what you got going on. And we talked about this, what a risk that is for a company to say, we are going to profit like a son of a bitch by selling Piaggio 100,000, 60% done tires.
Yeah.
We're going to save 40% on every tire we send them. However, it may give us a black eye, and those customers may say, never meet us, never again.
Right.
Yeah.
But they don't care because the check now is more important than the check 5 years down the road.
Exactly.
But this can be a lesson too. So like when I first wanted a motorcycle, my neighbor at my parents' house up the road he was a German guy named Mr. Lechner. And Mr. Lechner had BMWs, much like the one that you have up there.
Yeah.
And and he was kind of a cool guy because he knew that me and his son were very interested in motorcycles. So he would teach us stuff. And one of the things he always said, he goes, when you come back from a ride, you're tired. You're going to get home. You're going to throw your bike in the garage. You're going to forget everything that took place that day, even all the mechanicals and things that you wanted to be like, when I get home, I have to deal with this. So he's like, as dumb as this sounds, I do a pre-ride check every single time. I check my tire pressure. It takes 2 minutes.
Right.
Check your tire pressure. Check the treads. Just make sure there's nothing falling off the bike, and then get up and go. And if you have a chain, obviously, but he didn't have a chain.
Yeah.
For me, whatever.
Yeah.
But I still do that to this day. So that's something that if you just look at your tires, because sometimes you don't know that they got that bad, but give them an eyeball before you run out.
That happened to me on the way to Alaska. I bought a tire in Edmonton, I think, Canada. And 2 days later, I'm up in Alaska, and I did a walk around the bike, and that brand new tire was gone. It was just smoked. Wow. So I had to buy another tire in Fairbanks.
Wow.
And it was a Metzler, and I haven't bought a Metzler since.
Right.
How many miles did you get out of it?
1,100.
I was going to say,
That's
under
it?
1,200 miles.
It's a
and
chip seal
nothing.
roads up there.
Yeah.
A Metzler's a really good tire until you hit a chip road or something crazy where it eats the tire up.
Yeah.
It ate that one up.
So
What bike
clearly.
were you on, Pete?
1150 GSA.
Okay, so it's got some weight to it and
There was
stuff.
some weight, but it was a proper size tire.
no,
Right, no, it shouldn't have lasted.
No,
That's ridiculous.
A Metzler you'll get about $3,000 out of, give or take. But if you hit a heavy duty road, it will eat the thing up.
Oh, hold on.
Uh-oh.
Because I have a BMW out in the parking lot
Yeah, with
from
a
year of our Lord 1988.
With a freaking laser tech as hard as that pole.
And that front tire on there is dated 06.
Yeah.
So it's an 18-year-old tire. And it still has what my tireometer says is about 2,000 miles of life left on it. Now, all the emollients and oils and rubber have left that tire a long time ago. It's now mahogany.
It's round though.
But
It
it's
is-
not.
it is round.
It's not dry rotted. It's not checked.
Yeah.
Still shaped like a Metzler laser tech.
It's still...
What you haven't realized is it has no air in it at all. But it's just holding it.
Yeah, it is just holding...
It's 0 psi. It's
it's still
crust. It's a brulee.
What did I tell you when it rolled in? I haven't seen a Metzler laser tech in 15 years.
Unless you look at any of my GB 500s.
Exactly.
Yeah. For a long time, that laser tech was the only way to get on the racetrack with any kind of authority in the rain.
Like,
Yeah.
holy crap, a laser tech. I have not seen, because Pirelli roots have been the go-to for that tire.
Oh, yeah.
I'm like, oh my God, a laser tech. Who would
A
put that
Metzler
on?
laser tech. Right. Or just auf Deutsch and everything else. It was very cool.
Did not see that coming.
No.
Not see that
Did
coming.
not see. Are we the baddies? Oh, throwback to a pre-podcast conversation.
Oh God, yes.
Wait a minute.
Oh God, yes.
a minute.
Hey, we will ask the questions.
So,
Hey, you're not going to get that joke for $10.
right at the Patreon level,
Patreon
you're probably
level.
not going to catch that joke. We have to. I mean, we have to come correct as a result of Mid Ohio. We have been catching nothing but this weird vibe, this weird, hey, we love you guys, this is great. And there's also a lot of mental energy of people planning for what's going to happen next year at Mid Ohio.
Oh, yeah.
good. Holy shit.
Yeah.
Jesus, Christmas.
Hey.
Apparently, if you want to stab the, you want to probe stimulate the creativity brain cortex, yeah, we do.
So I actually have, I don't know if it made the rounds, but I have actually mapped out the amount of space we took on that last row.
Oh, yeah.
Don't let them know. They'll never let us
It
do it
is a
again.
third of that row.
Don't let them
let
know.
them
We will never
But
ever get that
I've already
again.
buried things that are going to
Yeah, no, we got bottles of vodka buried in that space.
Love it.
Fuck that. I was planting claymores.
Right? But like,
Oh, those guys with the loud two strokes? Clack.
no, that asshole with a cannon behind us, you were ready to go fucking shoot him in the face.
I got a 30-pound tank under there. It's going to release just fart smells down.
But like
there you go.
a bunch of folks we talked to during the course of the week that came by and dropped off booze and food and ice most importantly.
Yes. Bring
Are
ice.
like,
Be cool, bring
are like,
ice.
hey, you guys have got a really cool setup up here.
Yeah.
I said, yeah. And next year, get your fucking ass up here.
Well,
Because you don't have to be any further.
as a result
As a result,
of AMA Vintage Days, as a result of that, we would like to welcome Dwayne Chew,
Hey.
Chew. Dwayne Chew is at the $5 level.
Yeah.
Dwayne Chew,
he doesn't get the jokes.
he doesn't get all the punchlines, but he said he doesn't need them. He says he's listened to the podcast so far and he survived
fair.
this long without the punchlines. He figures he can tough it out.
Maybe one or two squeak through, and he's like, "That's not worth paying."
That's not worth paying for. Yeah, he sampled some of our
He
punchlines and he
only
thought he could
took
do better.
tips.
Chuck Bledsoe, another, hey, thanks to AMA Vintage Days, Chuck Bledsoe is another guy. And by the way, not a stranger to V-twin motorcycles, and he's here, and that's pretty cool. Dan Johnson is also fresh. Dan Johnson just showed up at the also highly desirable $5 a month level. And you think about that, that's 60 whole doll hairs a year. I've done some experimenting at my local
Bathhouse?
thank you. And $60 a year is
he
going to
had
get
a
you
schvitz. It was great.
one less than memorable experience. Right. So, but if you get $60, you spend $5 a month with us, you get to come again to one of the absolute best motorcycle podcasts.
This is going to go back
And
to box.
I personally witnessed you give away hundreds of dollars of things, and you
Yes.
and me,
Yeah.
I probably, each person I met got $60 worth of something back.
Anybody that came by
Yeah.
the booth,
Yeah.
at the FEMA camp, anybody that came by the FEMA camp was welcomed to anything
Yeah.
and everything,
And-
in the coolers, on the tables. That
That
came
was
off
really
the
nice
grill.
of Becky to take all those guys on like that.
Exactly.
That was-
Becky
Yeah.
took on all the guys.
by the way,
Well,
I
eventually
still-
Becky and I took them on together.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, we did.
Wait. I have to say it the right way.
Yeah.
Becky,
Yeah.
Sean,
Yeah.
and Anson, and Jake
Yes.
took on all comers.
Yeah.
Yes.
I miss Jake.
what
I'm not
a
lying,
team.
man. I miss
What a
Jake
team,
2.0,
man. Y'all, they just kept coming and coming.
One of my favorite thing is the dark currency of Mid-Ohio. The dark currency of Mid-Ohio is straight up the whole like, hey, you guys are great. I just wanted to come by and say hi. You thirsty? Oh, no, I just wanted to say hi. You hungry?
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
I could eat.
do you party?
Yeah.
Do you like to get
Jesus
down?
Christ, is there anything here you guys don't have?
No.
Yeah,
Oh, no.
no, this is cool.
No, next year we're doing a
We've been
shower.
preparing for this for 25 years. I got this shit covered.
no.
Right.
We got you covered.
No,
right.
no, T.
You sure your bike works right?
Yeah.
Right. So wait. So you're gonna fix my bike. You're gonna probably get me high. You're probably gonna give
My
me a
daughter's
cocktail.
never ridden a motorcycle
Right.
before. Here's 13.
Right.
Choose
Oh,
which one to shoot.
Oh,
like
yeah. No shit, because Anson's
I love how somebody's like, I can't get this bike to start. Then take a fucking another one. It's like somebody was like, this bike won't start, and I was like, I'm not even gonna get up.
No.
And dude,
Take a different one.
I had this guy came up to me, and I guess it like maybe about 10 or 15 years ago, I might have had this attitude because like when you have a bike, it's like that's
Right.
my fucking bike,
Right, yeah,
But then like you hang out with you enough,
Right.
Especially you're the like the best at this,
Oh,
I guess you could
yeah.
say. But like after a few years of hanging out with you, you pick bikes that are no longer your bike. It's the bike that you take, and they're everybody's bike.
Well, there's this concept about camp chairs.
Yeah,
Yeah.
So I was taught by a very good friend of mine that camp chairs, you don't really own them.
right.
You just show up with them.
Right.
And then when the party's over and you leave, you may or may not have the same camp chairs you started with.
Right.
And 2 or 3 years later, you may be like, I remember that. That was my chair.
Yeah.
Well, then take it.
Yeah.
Right. And in our camp, Dan's trailer, my trailer becomes stasis.
Right.
It's there's a seal on there that only gets opened once a year. And if you lost some shit at Mid-Ohio, guess what? I bet you we got it. Can I go in the camper and find it? No, probably not. But it'll show up next year at Mid-Ohio.
Yeah.
Like the random shit that I just hung out on our tent and people are like, oh, that's mine. Mm-hmm. Is it really?
Is it really?
Okay, well, because it became property of the hive. The Borg had assimilated it.
Right.
And now you may take it back should you choose.
Yes.
But it's got our stink on it.
Well, there's a great, because camp chairs.
Yeah.
There's a green camp chair that I think Chris Smith dropped off here.
Oh, okay.
That disappeared at Mid-Ohio that is probably in the back of the trailer. And Becky's like, where'd that cow? And I'm like, I don't care.
Right,
It's like a
it's a camp chair.
$15 trailer.
Right.
Who cares? Or $15 chair. It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
Well, that's the thing. Like, if I came home with nothing I brought to Mid
Right.
Ohio
It doesn't
because
matter.
it was on fire,
Right.
And you
I
no.
Well, not what I was selling, but
You didn't come back with the things from Mid Ohio, and then you bought an RSV4.
basically. but I'm just saying, not the bike, the stuff.
right.
Stuff.
Yeah.
Stuff is communal, just
Well,
like you're
that's
saying. It makes it fun.
that's been the thing about the kitchen, because the kitchen has become a thing. I'm not gonna lie, the kitchen and the lounge have advanced.
But can we be honest though for 1 second? This whole thing is I feel very selfish about it because after you start providing and doing things, you get such a good feeling from it. It's like you get to be Santa Claus.
yeah.
You're like,
Oh, yeah.
you don't have that here.
Yeah.
And so they're like, oh, thank you. But meanwhile, I'm stoking like, yeah, fuck yeah. I'm getting the buzz of giving shit away. Like,
It's this or actual charity.
Right. Everybody. Well, but no.
people we care
this
about
is-
or that guy.
This is part of our. This is our community. Look at it. Look at it the right way.
right.
This is our community. You
Yeah.
have shown up to this event, therefore you are part of our people. You are our tribe, no matter who you are, what you are, what you ride.
and if you
how
open
do
with,
it.
I listen to you guys, well then.
Oh yeah, you get extra.
Come on in, baby.
If somebody comes in and says, "Hey, do you guys need anything?" the answer is always booze,
Right.
ice,
Yeah.
or if you want to, we have a grill back here.
Right.
Cook whatever the fuck you want,
it's-
because it will get it will get consumed.
It's remarkable to me, having done a couple of Burning Mans.
Yeah.
Like, and I see all the amount of effort that a lot of people put into that, and that we do this for no shit 2.5 days.
Yeah.
Right. So we're putting quite a bit of effort into something that's only going to last 2.5 days long, and whether you count that in hours, minutes, miles, dirt, whatever,
It is fleeting.
And
it's fleeting.
Not taking anything away from your success at all, but Burning Man, like none of us are going to be able to spend $45,000 on a wooden effigy that might not make it home that day. You know what I mean?
None of us want to go. Look, I have this philosophy.
Right.
If there's that much fucking sand, there better be some goddamn water. Period.
Okay. Well, there was last year.
That's true.
And the sky opened up.
Sky opened up.
Dude, there was nothing better than seeing 7 miles of $10 million
I
RVs
know.
up to the fucking wheel wells of mud.
I mean, I know burners.
Every
that's funny
drone
as shit.
shot of
Oh,
the
yeah.
guy in the
Oh, yeah.
rented Dodge Ram
yeah.
towing the rented trailer.
Give him hell, buddy.
And he's like, I'm going for it.
Yep.
And you're like, nope, you're
Dude,
not.
and in the back of some shitty pickup truck, you'd see like T.I. and like all these rappers and superstars just like getting hauled out in the
Like
back of the thing.
like I, there better be some surfing and some fishing and an actual beach.
Right.
For
Or at
that
least
much
good drugs. Well, no, they have
sand.
that, so they have
So
that.
There
like,
you go.
Like I've always been told I'd love Burning Man, and I'm like, no, I don't want to be stuck in a fucking yurt with some dude on acid telling me about his fucking life story. I've been old man to death in a motorcycle shop.
Dude, you were with the dude on acid all weekend a while ago.
Yeah, well, you don't really take anybody hostage though. You don't hostage take.
No,
You just
you're not
kind
a
of sit there and go,
hostage taker.
yeah,
That's
man,
absolutely
I'm
right.
one with the universe. I'm like, cool,
Right.
you go with that.
It's pretty good. I love that. So that's really cool. All right.
The last guy I talked to, he was like, dude, I think I took too many mushrooms. Can
Right.
I pet your dog?
Can I pet your dog?
And you know what Riley loves?
Yeah.
To sit there and get stroked.
Right. Don't we all? All right.
Until he's like, these feathers won't come off this chicken.
I had an absolute blast with it. It was my first one.
That was your first time ever.
Oh, you were a virgin.
Sean was a virgin.
Yeah, it was my first time, yeah.
We were gentle.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, well, what was, let's give us your opinion, your full opinion of the event.
Oh, well, next year I do absolutely. So I was only in on Saturday, and I didn't, it was mostly an afternoon,
Sean
late
was
evening
just
thing.
in and out.
I was an in and outer this time, but I will absolutely be planning to do the full affair next year because I had so much fun with it.
Excellent.
It was just such a fun, easygoing, kind of do whatever, relax, go see what's going on. If you have things to buy and sell,
Yeah, but that's the thing is like a lot of it is just that. It's running fun errands.
Yeah. But also, like, I didn't realize just quite the scale of the whole operation.
Oh yeah, nobody.
I mean,
does.
it is
Nobody
just,
does.
It was a lot for
Yeah.
Sean to take in. It was really big. And
Boy, did
hurt.
I take it.
Boy, did he.
It must have been terrible seeing all those half-naked, sweaty men.
Oh, yeah. It's real. What a tragedy.
There is absolutely no innuendo in this show.
Oh man.
On my gayest day, on my gayest Thursday morning, never, not ever, ever has anybody at Mid-Ohio been like, I got the tinglies. No, because Mid-Ohio is not that kind of place.
Well, if you have it, like, if your type is like what grows on trees in Ohio, like beardy dudes, you know, of middling, you know, stature, weight, etc., then it's a gold mine, right?
There were
is a gold mine.
There were some adventurous females over by the heavy metal tent wearing not much.
There was a plethora for everybody.
Yeah.
My favorite, I need to get my head together thing. I took a disco nap. I woke up and I was like, walked around our camp. Things were pretty quiet. I was like, fuck it, going over to Ripper's Row. So I went over to Ripper's Row and I was over there, and the party at Ripper's Row was a straight up 9.75.
Oh, yeah.
Right? And they were throwing people. Like, it was just people jumping off trailers.
You ever hit a motherfucker with a motherfucker?
Right, exactly. And I was like, and the second I went over there, I'm in the black hoodie. I'm in my, my camouflage pants. I'm completely invisible. I'm in my little shell of anonymity, and I've got a cocktail and a cigarette, and I'm just, my head's down, and I was like, mosh pit. And I went into the mosh pit. I put my thumb over the top of my drink, and I just spun in there until my 55-year-old legs went, dude, give us a break. You're 55 years old. And I bounced off a guy that was up 6.5 feet tall. And when I bounced off of him, I realized, like, I had just gotten to that point where you're going down. Your legs don't work anymore. You're about to get stepped on by 17 people you don't know yet. And 6 hands grabbed me and pulled me back up on my feet.
Yep.
And I was like, shit. And the one guy who picked me up, the guy picks me up, and I look at him, and he's wearing a plague mask, right?
Yep.
So I got picked up by a 6-foot-tall, 365-pound crow, for lack of a better term. He was a large, dark-colored thing with a beak.
Love it.
And when I got picked up by him, I was like, whoa, Jesus. He goes, you're cool, man. You're all right. I was like, yeah, that was close. And he goes, no, you're fine. This is great. Yeah. And I went, cool. I'm going to hang out here for a second.
Yeah.
So I hung out there for a second. I lit a celebratory cigarette. And as I lit the celebratory cigarette, the giant crow thing goes, you got an extra one of those? I fucking goddamn sure don't. Absolutely. And he goes, great. And he goes, you like Adderall? And I went, no, don't need any Adderall. He goes, and he holds it, he opens his hand up, and he's got a prescription bottle full of Adderall. And I was like, no, I'm cool.
No, we're good.
I'm totally fine. Just going to have the rest of this Wild Turkey 101 and this cigarette, and we'll see if I decide to go across the pit again. Right? And I was just like, this is Mid-Ohio.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I like a lot? And like, it's kind of weird. So like, I forget that, like, we are all older, right?
Yes, we are all
older. And so so Mike and Wendy's daughter was hanging out at the tent. I was over there.
You mean Montesticle?
Yes.
Okay.
And so I was over there, and everybody was hammered. So they're like, you don't drink. Can you drive her over to get her phone unlocked? And I'm like, well, where am I going?
Right.
And they're like, Ripper's Row. You'll find her parents somewhere there.
Somewhere over there.
So then the one guy lent me the CF Moto touring bike, or touring, whatever it is, the 600. It was a really nice bike. It was John's bike, but with CF Moto attached to it. It's a Kawasaki.
It's a very nice bike.
Really nice bike.
Not the fireman, but yeah, I remember the CF Moto
the other
touring.
guy. Super nice guy.
Super nice guy.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I told him I was bad with names, so he's not mad at me right now. But his bike was awesome. His bike was awesome.
Like,
but anyways,
like he's going to be our long term on this CF Moto ride.
Yeah, well, he does. He commutes on it. He had like 10 or 12,000 miles on the thing already.
Exactly.
Yeah, but anyway, so I go over there on this awesome bike, most comfortable ride I had all weekend. And so we and I'm like, where's your parents? She's like, I don't know. So we're walking through the pit. There's people flying over her head, getting thrown around.
Yeah.
And then you find Wendy and Mike, and they're hanging out by the fence. And we go over there. And as soon as like they knew their daughter was okay and stuff, I saw them walk toward the pit. And I'm like, oh my gosh, like, I could never imagine my parents at an event going to go mosh.
Yeah. Never.
But that's where we are now.
Yeah.
Like,
That's exactly
Mom
right.
and Dad, I'm okay. So Mom and Dad, you can go ahead and mosh.
Yeah.
Right.
Love it.
Well, that
was great.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Because moshing I mean, music-wise and everything else, moshing really didn't do till 85-ish. 83, 85. Dead Kennedys, the punk in the late 70s, early 80s.
But what I'm realizing,
and
though,
our generation has kind of hit that point where we're now parents and, at this point, God damn it,
but listen,
grandparents.
Tell me if I'm wrong here. I think that our generation, and I mean this from like the 45 to 55, 60-year-old, like this, whatever we call us, right? I don't think we've ever grown up, and I don't think we're going to.
Well, no.
I'm never not wearing a flat bill hat. I'm going to be 75 wearing a flat bill hat.
Everybody has always said that Generation X, which is what we are mostly comprised of, age at 18, we became 30.
I disagree.
And never advanced beyond 30.
Hey, Pete. When you were 12 years old, did you have to let yourself in the house, make your own dinner, make your own lunch, kind of take care of yourself, look after yourself? Because I did.
Yeah, I did.
My parents are both working.
Yeah.
I was capable, but my parents both worked.
I didn't get a babysitter after the age of 11.
Latchkey
we were
kids.
latchkey kids.
Latchkey kids.
Yeah, so we didn't really have a
So
child.
my joke was always that, children of this era, when we were 12, we were behaving like we were 30.
Right.
Well, because
And when we were 30, we were behaving like we're 30. And now that we're 60, we're behaving like we're 30.
Like we're 30.
We're just perpetually 30 years old.
30 and we never advanced.
But that's what I'm saying. Like when you look around now, like if you go back 20 years ago and look at a 50-year-old guy, they look like they're 70.
Right.
I know.
Like they're
Look,
all this stuff.
I
But
am
us,
older. I am older than Wilford Brimley.
Yes.
In Cocoon.
Right. Yes.
And I joked about this at Mid Ohio, and both Becky and Sean were like, "Oh my God, Wilford Brimley!" Like I am older than B. Arthur at freaking the Golden Girls.
Yeah. Well, there's a difference.
Like that's
clearly.
the point. Is we have all gotten. We have not aged
Unless
but we're older.
unless like Pete, you've developed a fondness for the facial hair.
Well, yeah.
Right. The facial hair thing, you're like, because now all of a sudden, now we don't
ages you.
understand whether somebody's 50 or a moonshiner.
Well, I mean,
Right. Well, that's when I had the bigger beard. I used to get like, Bill, what are you, 60 now or something?
like if I grew my hair out, my hair is white, but there's not a lot here, which is why I don't let it grow out.
I'm not playing that game anymore.
Oh, dude,
But-
that would be good. I'd like to see Tom with this the fucking like bozo white.
Oh
fucking,
no! I had mad scientist. When I had hair, I had mad scientist hair. Like it was everywhere.
Nice.
I did one celebration, like one ceremonial French braid, like the last one I was ever going to have. And I was like, and we're done.
But like, because
it's over.
I think we talked about this, but Anson's daughter.
Yeah.
And I threw her at the Coleman.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then she was wheeling.
And then she came back and
did
wheelied his
great.
Buscadero.
Wheelie. She did great.
And then Hunter, is that the kid's name?
No, Carter.
Carter. I knew it was either
The only name I remembered from the whole fucking event.
Well, the problem is everybody of his generation is either named Hunter or Carter, and it's not a lie.
Well, he liked peanuts like Jimmy Carter.
But
so
he's
that's your mnemonic
see, that
device.
makes more sense.
Yeah.
But like those two, like they fucked off and were like on CRF 250. Like they went down and bought they went down and bought 2-stroke CRFs and like
they were there to
wheeling through
cut-
the fucking doing wheelies through everything.
Everybody has a different MO when they get to AMA Vintage Days. Some people are just like
their parents are like, "Have you seen
I just
want to
go ride in the woods for 6 hours and get lost.
Liza kidnapped Evie in the unicorn costume, and they were like doing burnouts at the end of the evening.
Good. That's a proper Mid Ohio.
And she'd have been like motorized 2 wheels for like 2 hours.
I again, it's your choose your own adventure. Make the most of it. You're gonna have a good time.
All right, moving right along. So,
because
I am Fozzie Bear, by the way.
because there's a thing. So Sturgis has happened, right? And there's a big thing going on.
Wow,
and
leathery tits.
I accidentally missed it for the 53rd time.
I know,
right?
So tragic.
I'd love to see Mount Rushmore, but I don't want to see it surrounded by Sturgis.
I've heard it's so unimpressive in person. It's like this,
Mount Rushmore?
Yeah, I heard
It's
it's like
pretty
little-
small.
Impressive.
Oh no, I meant Sturgis.
but it's small though, right? It's
So
like
is
they make it
Sturgis.
seem like
Pretty
it's
good size.
giant.
So the trick with that
Sturgis is the small.
Mount Rushmore appears in the distance.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, you're like, that's it. That's the thing. That's happening.
Yeah.
And the same with
pictures to follow.
Right. The same with the Statue of Liberty. The same with all these
yeah.
things. And you're like, it appears on the landscape. It appears on the horizon. And you're like, that's a thing I'm going to.
Reveals itself to you.
Right. That's a place I'm going. That's a destination. And then when the closer you get to it, you start to understand the scale of the thing and how, it's 14 human beings high,
Okay.
right? And that's the whole, like, it was built with dynamite and chisels and things. And you're like, that was fucking impressive by any standards.
And for just to cover our bases.
Yeah.
And a violation of treaties.
And again.
But we're moving right along.
Right. And that's why there's the crazy horse on the other side that they still haven't been able to complete.
Right.
Right. So as a kid growing up, kind of going out there and spending a decent amount of time out there, George Washington's nose is 60 feet long.
Yeah.
That kind of thing.
Wow, it was real life.
It is one of those things where you just kind of go, okay, that's humans having their impact on nature.
Yeah.
Right. And nobody decided to put a Nike swoosh on the moon yet.
Give it 5 years.
Yet. Right. But this idea.
Elon's going to need more money.
Using, rather than building a statue up, carving one out of the rock at, South Dakota at Sturgis. Right. And so that whole, like, going out there is this thing that the roads are fucking fantastic. And I will never take anything away from that. And when it's not Sturgis, because I was there in the 90s and I was also there in the early 2000s, and I haven't been back there for Sturgis event since then. Only because it was overwhelming to me in 2003, and I had no desire to go back for the motorcycle.
Gathering of the dentists?
Well, it's just the whole thing.
Yeah.
Right, it's just the whole thing. But there's a reason I don't go. I used to go to Daytona as well, and I would go to Daytona for the riding.
Right.
I don't go to Daytona anymore. That's
If
just
I want
the
to
thing.
see tits that bad, I'll go to a strip club.
Yeah, right. So it's just for me personally, that's not my jam. So we.
What are you? No. Share with the share with the class.
Pete was just being sneaky.
Sneaky
Last
Pete.
year when we went to South Dakota and we did the BDR X route out there, we went to.
You go to the mountain, yeah,
Rushmore, and
right.
There were some.
You went to Twin Peaks.
Well, so the thing is, Pete showed me a picture that I thought might have been pulled from the internet because it's very funny. But then he has the secondary picture with him in it taking the picture.
Taking the picture of it there.
There was a guy in a Harley Davidson jacket,
Yeah.
and he's got like a plumber's crack, and he's sitting right in front of Mount Rushmore on a bench. And like it just like was so Harley Davidson.
It's
But,
the
dude,
strongest.
but it totally looks like some kind of a funny thing that you downloaded. But no, he has the proof
So
because you back it up.
this is actually leading into
me
where
taking
we're,
the picture. Yeah.
This is part of the trip of where we're going. So
If I had thought about debuting any kind of light drag at Mid-Ohio next year, Lady Miss Sturgis Rosebud was maybe.
my show notes.
Show notes. Oh, that is fucking awesome.
Let's see.
He's the fifth
Pete,
Amazing.
Excellent.
Pete, we will have to send that by text to the chat, and then we will put that on the Cleveland Moto Podcast Facebook page because that is awesome.
That is awesome.
That is make it glossy Christmas card to the family
totally.
That is a
level
Christmas
quality.
card.
Absolutely.
So
a gentleman who finds himself to be the official ambassador of all things right wing and wants to call attention to anything that uses the term or can be applied with the term woke. Bobby Starbuck. No shit. I shits thou not. His name is Bobby Starbuck or Robbie Starbuck.
oh my God, the Cylons are coming.
Well, yeah, but that's not his real name. It turns out you got to be
His
aware.
name is Fuckstick.
Well, whatever.
Shitwagon.
That's his Native American name.
Oh, right.
Right. So,
latrine. No.
right. So it turns out Robbie Starbuck's actual name is Robbie Starbuck Newsom. But don't let your actual name get in the way of anything because this is the party that says you're not allowed to change your names.
Right.
Yet everybody around them seems to be people that have changed their names. Weird.
Right.
Thou doth protest too much. So Robbie Starbuck has gone around, Robbie Starbuck Newsom. He tried to become a congressman in the state of Tennessee, but the state of Tennessee denied him running as a Republican because they said that he was not, in fact, a Republican, which I thought was hilarious.
Did he
that
not
the state
wear
of Tennessee
blackface to a
decided
Halloween party or something?
the state of Tennessee decided that their Supreme Court was so much against the idea of having what can only be described as a muckraker in modern day terms elected to office that they said the grounds on which we are denying you running is not that you're not from Tennessee, because he's not, is that you're not a Republican. I'm pretty sure I could prove I was a Republican in Tennessee in about a day and a half if I had to.
I have registered as a Republican off and on for the past 30
fine.
goddamn years.
I have no problem. But here's the problem. He's been trying to say that American institutions like Tractor Supply Company, John Deere tractors, et al., are too woke.
Yeah. John Deere buckled to that.
Well,
a little bit.
So did Tractor Supply.
So Tractor Supply did too.
So his the latest target of his affections in his greaseback, slickback hair is Harley Davidson.
Yeah.
And so he decided to attack Harley Davidson during Harley Davidson's birthday week or whatever, Harley Davidson's tribute week at Sturgis. And his technique was to use the internet to say that Harley Davidson's new CEO, Mr. Dietz, was too woke. And that Mr. Dietz, who I remind you is German.
Who took what, $60 billion from the United States government to fold electric bikes back?
Who has managed to out-capitalist the capitalist.
Because he's German. He's efficient.
Because he's German.
Is it Germans?
Probably drinks Bud Light.
Well, that's one of Harley Davidson's
No,
sponsors.
he's a German.
So-
He probably drinks the Schwarzbier.
So what Mr. Starbuck did was Mr. Starbuck floated this idea that Harley Davidson was too woke because
goddamn weirdo.
in their corporation.
I said that in the voice of Johnny Starbuck.
Johnny
Just so you know.
So that Harley Davidson, by the way, a corporation that has over 7,000 employees.
Yeah.
Mind you, there's one Robbie Starbuck.
Yeah.
He produced a couple of rap videos. Okay.
Wait. Rap videos.
Nah, do your own fucking research. All right. So this guy's claim to fame
Weirdo.
is not Harley Davidson. This guy is not a Harley Davidson employee. He's not fit to carry Harley Davidson's gold-plated jockstrap. But what he's done is he's asserted that Harley Davidson, a company with over 7,000 employees, that in our United States of America, if you have ex-employees, you are required to be what? Fair in your hiring practices.
Yep.
You are not allowed to be discriminatory.
Yep.
We have laws going back to this to protect the Irish, the Italians, the black people, anybody you fucking want to name, because America is give us your sick, your poor, your huddled masses. We are a nation of immigrants.
Yeah.
I say that as a person of unknown, ambiguous ancestry.
Hey, look. I'm not going to lie when I say we have been here since 1640. Welcome.
Okay.
Build the country.
Right. Now,
Let's go.
Now, immigrants get the job done is something that I believe in and have believed in my whole goddamn life.
Absolutely.
So when somebody says that the hiring practices of one Harley Davidson are suspect because Harley Davidson, which is headquartered in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, has done things like contributed to the Milwaukee city, the city of Milwaukee's gay pride parade.
Yeah.
Oh, the horror.
Well,
that one of the largest manufacturers in the state of Wisconsin and the city of Milwaukee is participating in a civic event to uplift the citizens of Milwaukee. Yeah. God forbid that Harley Davidson contribute to a parade goes past their fucking factory or past their headquarters.
Absolutely.
God forbid.
Now, Sean's going to go with me on this one.
That's an assumption.
Yeah.
Most
Getting on the back of this bike.
For you, Sean.
Yeah, that's fair.
most modern Harley Davidson cosplay comes from San Francisco post World War II leather.
Oh, yeah. I could certainly get behind that.
And see?
Yeah.
And so for these guys,
It's just
who run
missing a
around-
hanky code.
Exactly. So for these guys running around wearing leather cosplay, because it is leather cosplay because they aren't in the hanky code or
Right.
anything else.
Right.
For decades, these guys don't know they're cosplaying as gay.
Right.
And
But,
now
I
for
don't
this
think
guy
any-
to come out and say Harley Davidson is woke, It's like, do you not fucking realize what you're dressing as, what you're doing?
Would anyone like to identify the leather daddy in the image?
Love that.
Judas Priest or something?
Yeah, that's Rob Halford.
It is Rob Halford.
That's Rob Halford.
Yeah.
As a kid growing up,
Yeah.
one of the greatest bands ever to show your complete and utter disgust with authority.
Yep.
And your complete and utter disgust with American society the way it was.
Yeah.
One of the best bands you could ever possibly go to see.
What
at
are you rebelling against?
Monsters
What
of
do you
Rock
got?
at Lorelei in Germany in 1987.
Yeah.
You were there?
Lorelei, absolutely.
I might have been. Oh, no, I was at Monsters Rock. I was at Bizarre Fest.
Bizarre. Okay, I was at Monsters of Rock in Lorelei.
Akron Rubber Bowl.
Akron Rubber Bowl, right? I saw this guy in Germany. And if you want to know how much leather there was,
Yeah.
there was a whole bucket of leather.
Hey, Sean.
Right?
Sean, are
Yes.
you with me on this? What do
Right.
you think about what do you think about leather German men?
Oh, well, it's like for me specifically, that would be like a sometime snack. You know, like that's it's too rich to have every day.
Yeah, I know.
Rob Halford's principal article of accessory here is a riding crop
Yeah.
Yep.
and a Harley Davidson Superglide.
Yep.
Love that.
Right. So this, for a company that has been, yay to Judas Priest,
Yeah.
since the 70s,
Yeah.
right? For a company that has been pro rock and roll, right? For a very goddamn long
I mean,
time.
is there somebody that doesn't think he's badass, no matter how gay he is?
It's Rob Halford.
or Lita Ford or
Yeah.
Joan Jett,
Yeah.
Or any-
right?
yeah.
Or let's just
So-
keep going.
Oh yeah.
Right? Yeah.
So after
Right.
World War II, the most prolific motorcycle that the government was trying to get rid of was what? The WLA.
Yeah.
And where were they trying to get rid of them? The Asian market, which ended up in San Francisco, and thus it exploded.
I promise
and
you
it has
this.
become this. So
This idea that Harley Davidson is too woke. No, I would argue that Harley Davidson is doing exactly what Harley Davidson should do.
Yeah.
And they are shaking off the dust, dirt, and debris of being only associated with outlaw
Yeah.
motorcycle groups.
Yeah.
When I was a
that
child
don't buy
growing up,
motorcycles for
that
35
don't
years.
buy
Right,
motorcycles
right.
Yep.
and are exclusionary and say that, oh, well, if you're black, you can't be in the Hells Angels. There is a motorcycle club for that, but it's
Which-
not ours.
yeah.
Right. If you're a woman, you can't be in the Hells Angels. There's a motorcycle club for that, but it's not ours. Harley Davidson chooses to embrace what? Being an American motorcycle company for Americans to ride.
I bet you
and
they
enjoy.
embrace selling motorcycles.
I'm
They-
sure
well,
at the
yeah,
end
I
of the
mean-
day, right? The ultimate goal is to sell more fucking motorcycles.
But you know what? They had this happen before when Harley Davidson introduced fuel inject, and they were like, "Those bikes are gay now."
Oh, when they
You know,
introduced
they had
the,
to get through all that.
twin cam 88, it was a fucking, oh my God, God's going to come back and smite you for the twin cam 88.
Right. Now. I thought you'd like that one.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Hey, look,
Yeah.
it's Tuesday already?
Now, here's my issue is that a lot of guys that have their Harley Davidsons, a lot of guys that are at Sturgis, are now saying things like, well, I have a pre-woke.
Oh Lord.
God.
I have a
fuck's
pre-woke
sake.
heritage softail.
Which is still pretty gay.
I'm sorry.
It's still
Are we
pretty
now
gay.
going to have a BC-80 situation where Harley Davidson,
Oh,
where we're going to be
Jesus
like,
Christ.
oh no, I got a pre-woke Harley Davidson because Dietz wasn't in charge.
Anything from the WLA on forward is gay. I'm sorry.
Well,
I'm sorry. Every leather dyke in the country is going to fucking beat you down because they're more butch than you.
I 100% promise you that you cannot say that Dietz's CEO-ship of the Harley Davidson flagship,
Right.
and I use that term completely intentionally, that Harley Davidson,
Have we shown
this picture was taken pre-Dietz.
Have we shown
okay?
everybody the flags we flew at Mid-Ohio?
I know.
I know.
So what?
Wait. I'm sorry. Sean hasn't seen mine.
It's okay.
I don't think anybody wants to see
I haven't
yours.
seen yours.
yeah. And the argument is that Harley Davidson, due to, and I will be very careful about this term because, again, I do not want
We
to
don't want to get
slide into
canceled?
it.
We
No,
don't wanna get-
fucking. As my niece once told me, Unky Phil, there is no reason on God's green earth that you haven't been canceled. And I went, well, because if you're going to say something edgy it had first better be funny.
Right.
Because if it's funny and everyone thinks it's funny, then they'll look into it, and it's the George Carlin rule.
Yeah.
It's the George Carlin rule. It's George Carlin said
Shit,
some.
piss, fuck,
Well, that's
goddamn motherfucker.
That's kind of what's going.
cocksucker.
That's kind of what's going on in. That's kind of what's going on in comedy right now.
Right.
Where you have some brilliant people that can ride that edge and take a new light on something and seriously deal with hot topics that are funny. But then you have the semi-moronic people that just think, oh, he told a gay joke, so I'm going to gay joke.
Right.
Oh, like-
That's not going to work. So
like Seinfeld suddenly becoming a piece of shit.
what they did was they peppered the crowd at Sturgis. They floated this idea on a bunch of ultra-conservative right-wing websites and platforms that Harley Davidson was making DEI hires. Here's fucking news for you, pal. Harley Davidson has been making DEI hires since anything called affirmative action ever existed, since anything called unions. And by the way, they are a union shop for the
They
record.
are.
Can I ask something,
Absolutely.
though?
Yeah.
Isn't like a major thing of, and I'm not saying parties, but just guys that are like this.
Yeah.
That those guys don't work.
Well,
So now they have a job,
You're
and now they're mad
outlaws.
about that.
Yeah,
Like, what the fuck, dude?
I don't know.
So quick,
Wait.
Yeah, please do.
quick addendum to that. So
Yeah.
the DEI thing in general, we all know that those DEI hires have been going on for who knows.
Now it's a dog whistle.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
now a lot of companies
Well-
are starting to actually brand teams
Yes.
under DEI,
So- Of
and
course.
that's where
Right.
the other side gets all barky and pissy.
They get all barky.
So
Absolutely.
this is there's a
Allocation of resources.
I think it's Connecticut, and actually this has matter with Pete. So there is a Supreme Court case, and it's decades old, like when I was in high school, where I think in Connecticut they advanced a couple of DEI firemen into a commander's role, and then it went to the Supreme Court, and it was a whole fucking argument. And I think, because this was back when I listened to right-wing radio, just because I wanted to hear what the wonks actually paid attention to.
Right.
And it became this huge issue of, oh my God, these guys weren't as accomplished as the white equivalents of them, but they still got the commander's post and everything else. And it went to the Supreme Court and was a huge fucking issue. And literally had been banging this drum for 30 goddamn years. And the reality is, don't be a dick. Stop being a dick. These guys need some. Everybody needs a little bit of help every now and again. Just don't be a dick.
Well, that's the first rule of my church is don't be a bastard.
Yeah.
Right? Don't be a dick.
Don't be a dick.
But for all their bullshit.
Yeah.
And
Are they
I'm watching interview after
Are they
interview.
shorting Harley?
Here's the interesting thing.
Is that what you're?
So I've been a Harley Davidson shareholder
They're shorting Harley.
for no shit 23 years.
This is
I did
insider
not
trading
realize
bullshit.
I did not realize that I was a Harley Davidson shareholder for 23 years. I just recently had to look that up. And what I can tell you is the net effect of these guys doing what they're doing to hurt John Deere, to hurt Tractor Supply, to hurt companies that would otherwise identify as being America.
Yeah.
Right? With a red, white, and blue flag. I would like to tell you that today, as of today, Harley Davidson's stock is $35.41 US dollars, which is actually up and is pretty much the average that it has been over the last 20 years. The stock is one of my least favorite stocks to own because no matter what the fuck happens, shy of what COVID happening when it dropped down to 19 doll hairs.
Whenever everything went.
And when
to
the
shit.
economy failed in 2009 when it dropped down to $10 hairs. Otherwise, that stock has been at $35 a share from pretty much $2,000.
It wouldn't shock me these assholes are trying to do this shit to short stock so they can fucking profit off.
No, it's not even that. They're not that smart.
They're not that smart.
What this is
Right.
is a loud fucking idiot.
Right.
Then and what happens is our media, which is this goes across the board.
That's what my point is.
Our media goes, ooh, a juicy story to report on. So
Right.
it's one dude
Right.
who like 8 of his friends listen to him, but
Right.
then every news source is like, and then it becomes a thing. But in
Right.
reality, it's 9 people.
Right.
You know, that's what I get sick of.
And it's one dude with less followers than a 14-year-old girl from Montana who talks about My Little Pony.
Right.
Right.
Hey, that's a really good thing to follow.
So when I see this, and I want to call attention to this in our podcast, because don't let this be confused with news.
No.
Because it's not. It's manipulation. And it is a trick being played upon society or people that love to do what we do.
Because I've got my own problems with Harley, which we've talked about, because they have suddenly become this whole, oh no, the government wants to give us money to become an electric motorcycle company. Okay, cool. They want to advance to the next level of being a more modern motorcycle company. Now, they didn't give it to Zero, which I'm still shocked by. They didn't revive Bramo, which I'm still shocked by, but, well, it's India. No, Indian Bramo.
I know Bramo. I know the entire history of Bramo.
Yeah.
To the letter.
But that's what I'm saying.
That was never an option.
That's what I'm saying. The grant money that the government gave out went specifically
Bramo
to
doesn't
Harley,
exist anymore.
To Harley and not to Polaris.
What
and not
about
to
the
anybody else.
amazing dirt bike company that Harley absorbed and fucked?
Well,
What was that
Armstrong, yeah.
No.
The guys
they
still
absorb-
race them. They love them.
Kill me now.
absorbed
Having a brain
Armstrong.
fart. Sorry, guys.
Anyway.
San Francisco.
But
Mission
point-
motorcycle.
Mission. But the point being is that,
the money should have gone to Zero,
yeah.
because Zero is an American motorcycle company that has been alive and thriving. And Harley has been sort of distancing itself from its Livewire project since it was a flop with shareholders and a flop with consumers.
Until they got government money.
Well, until government money was on the table and they ran back and said, no, hold on, we own that.
Yeah.
Right? Right.
Which is now why
If you're writing the check, write Harley on it. Don't write Livewire on it. Because if you write Livewire on it, Kimco gets half.
Right.
I'm going to say that again. If you write Livewire on the check, Kimco gets half.
Right.
Because the
Wouldn't there be
unfortunate...
some kind of laws about government giving a company, American company, money and then it goes overseas?
Well, no, because
they
Joe
don't care?
Manchin's daughter actually did a reversion with an Irish company, and therefore they avoided taxes, but they still get. I'm sorry.
Don't get started on Irish companies. Do not get started on Irish incorporation.
Oh my God, DeLorean has entered the chat.
Seriously. I mean, there's no.
Oh no, Tom!
Next,
your
we're going to talk about Delaware.
your channel
right.
seems to be failing. We're gonna have to.
We're getting some interference on Tom's behind the bar channel. All right, but that's all I really want to cover about is that this is now Harley Davidson's being attacked.
Look, of all of the bullshit around Harley, because I can bitch about Harley for hours.
You have.
Oh my God,
Right.
they're woke. Okay, fine. A lot of gay people ride Harleys.
But do they?
This is news.
I just, of all the things I thought would kill Harley, woke wasn't
Woke
one of
was
them.
not one of them.
That was not on my bingo card.
Yeah.
Oh my God, Harleys and leather,
Harley
and oh my
gets-
God, they're woke.
Harley
Yes.
sales take a dive because they're too woke.
But you know what? The 2025 models that they did show, they should have kept the Harley 1 instead of the pride flag on the side. I mean, that might have pissed a little few people
That's
off.
exactly right. Right. Yeah.
Oh my God, Harleys and leather.
Yeah, the reaction is almost as if they have like it is like they have introduced a Pride edition.
It is.
Yeah.
You know, something.
But again, it's one loud dude with 8 of his friends.
Right.
Yeah.
Sean, it's called the Harley Sportster.
The sports.
No, that's
Which
the
doesn't
883.
exist anymore.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, well.
Right.
The 883 probably was the gayest bike Harley made.
yeah.
If you're going to talk about it.
I totally disagree.
I disagree.
Really?
I disagree.
Oh my God.
The WLA is. I'm sorry.
Have you seen the Moo Glide?
What's the move?
Mooglide?
Pull it up.
Oh, is it the boat tail thing?
Pull it up.
Wait,
Nope.
I love the fact that I can type in Moo Glide
Moo
and I
Glide
can
and it will
reliably
pop.
know that Google will bring up the exact right motorcycle.
The Moo Glide.
The Moo Glide.
We're
I'm gonna pull it up so you can all appreciate it.
It'll
and
be
worship
there.
it in its whole splendor.
You know,
All right,
of all
ready,
the bikes we
set,
talk
here it
about,
comes.
we end up talking about that. Yeah.
So this is the Softail Heritage Softail FLSTN Cow. This is literally a motorcycle that comes with cow
seat.
Yeah.
cow fur, cow
Like
things.
it's a very Heartland edition.
Oh, it's
It might
so
as well. It could be
Heartland.
the cornfield edition.
It is truly the Brokeback Harley.
Yeah.
Well, how about every single Harley comes with little tassels hanging off? The fucking-
I know.
Again,
Look,
this is what happens
Sleepy-
when you try just a little too hard.
Sleepy,
And a
if you
sissy bar?
cross,
I mean, come on.
I
it
love
goes
the
and goes
fact
on.
that
if you cross leather culture, like leather culture doesn't exist without Harley and vice versa.
Yeah,
Like that is just the way it is.
Right.
Like Tom of Finland is going to show up.
Do you think?
Yes, Tom of Finland.
Do you think in the 70s, like when the Hells Angels were cruising around San Francisco, terrorizing everything, that just a couple times they walked into a leather bar and it took them about 3 minutes to figure out what was going on?
Yeah, it's called the Tenderloin.
Yep. Yes. The Tenderloin.
Hey, brother. That's an interesting handshake, brother.
God. So hey, we're going to go to the Folsom Street Fair.
That's going to be fun. Yeah.
Wait, handshake, hand.
Look,
I mean,
chaps.
I've
I can
seen
get with chaps.
pink Harley Davidsons. I've seen Hello Kitty Harley Davidsons. I've seen rainbow flags
And-
Harley Davidsons.
Now,
I've
granted,
seen all these things.
I haven't actually honestly been to that many of them, but every one that I have been to at every Pride parade, there are Harley riders usually in it.
absolutely.
Yes.
Whether it's, Bull Dyke ABC or
Right.
like random whatever Bear
Yep.
Gaze, like there's going to be Harleys somewhere. And there's motorcycles in general. There's always motorcycles, Vespas.
Of course.
Sean,
It's there. It's representation.
I have been to chats with old school leather lesbians, old school leather gay guys from San Francisco from the 50s era. And they will tell you the entire history of how when they got back up from being deployed, they bought the cheapest Harleys they could buy because the government was auctioning them off for fucking scrap value. And suddenly it became leather bike gangs in San Francisco. And it became the leather culture. Mm-hmm. And then you got the 50s era of guys that were like, what are you rebelling against? Well, we're rebelling against, culture,
have you got?
society. What do you got?
What do you got?
And that stupid picture of what's his name with all the fucking beer bottles around him and bullshit and
Supposed to be Hollister.
Right.
Not.
And it's not. And it literally graduated from gay leather culture to not gay, but still leather culture, and became this whole structured bullshit. And like we talked about the hanky coat.
If I take you out of Smedley's
No, it's you can take me out. It's
and I
closed.
move
It's
you
gone.
and I relocate you into another party I might be attending, you may not have to change your clothes.
No, no.
You may be already ready.
I literally got
Right.
threatened by Mr. Leather Louisiana for that jacket that I have with all the
Right.
studs on it.
Wow.
He threatened to beat me up at the Lords of Leather one time because I wore better leather than he did.
I was going to say because you weren't an actual lord.
Oh yeah, Lords of Leather.
You didn't.
Lords
You
of
weren't
Leather's a
landed
thing.
gentry.
So no, Lords of Leather in Louisiana is a gay Mardi Gras crew,
Yeah.
and it's all about the leather.
I get it.
And it is leather society. It's boot blacks. It's the whole fucking nine
I get
yards.
the whole thing.
And I am there, and he's like, "Motherfucker, you have upstaged me.
You shall be flogged.
You shall be flogged."
I think he was just being nice.
I think he's being nice too.
Oh,
I think
I
he's
don't
trying to give you
know.
some props.
Right on the St. Andrew's Cross.
Yeah.
Is that what it's
I
called?
saw those
St.
guys.
Andrew's Cross?
but like these guys, like, what the fuck, dude?
And in case you need any reinforcement that these, that this is the thing.
Well, the one guy's wearing 2 shirts, and the other guy doesn't have a shirt.
So yeah, right.
Well,
the
the
guy
problem is the guy on
closest
the
to the camera
left,
is
yeah.
wearing whole pants
He also has no ass.
and at least 3. He's wearing a T-shirt over his long sleeve shirt covered
How
by
can
his
you
vest.
not fill out a pair of
And he's wearing
Lees, man?
Wranglers.
Well, he's
Yeah,
confused.
there's
He's-
negative ass space in there.
I think the guy on the left is confused by
That's
sleeves.
That's
you know
his
what
top.
happened was he was wearing his chaps. He got in an accident and he ground his ass down because
The ground is ass.
if he would have had on full leather pants, he'd still have an ass.
That guy has all the dad. He's got the solar panel for a sex machine on top of his head. Right? He's got the open cranium.
Wait,
look going on.
Sean. This is a good question. Which one is the top?
Oh gosh.
I'm going with the right.
It's tough to say. Yeah, I get by. Oh, but the right.
Well, the guy on the right got the muscle shirt, but it didn't come with the muscles.
That motherfucker
Right.
has the best mustache you've ever seen. In your
he
life,
does.
Though. And
Yeah,
you
he
can't
does.
even see it.
No.
I know it's there.
No, his hair all slid off the top of his head, and it's in a tramp stamp right now.
Oh, it's the guy from Prodigy.
But the dude on the left is wearing all the things: no sleeves, short sleeves, and long sleeves.
Yeah.
He's covering all the sleeve bases. Meanwhile, his friend has no sleeves at all.
Help a guy out here.
Right. So the guy on the left is oversleeved. The guy on the right has no sleeves.
So here's the thing.
Because he is wearing like 3 shirts.
Yes, he is.
Yep.
Yes.
So
and a vest.
Here's my question.
Right.
So like when you were in high school,
Yeah.
it was cool to wear the concert T-shirt the day after the concert
Yes.
to
Right.
show that you went there.
Correct. Yeah.
But it was really uncool to wear the concert shirt of the band to the show.
I will help you with this.
Okay.
PCU covered this.
Right.
Now, what the gentleman on the right is doing is age flexing or rank flexing.
Oh, he's got 10-year-old Sturgis.
So his shirt is from the 81st annual Sturgis,
And with those
which
fucking-
would have been about 13 years ago.
With those fucking bingo arms he's got
Okay.
rolling there.
So
dude, you
So-
only make fun of people with their looks when you outlook them.
that's right. Right. So what's going on there is he's wearing a 13 or 14-year-old Sturgis shirt to show that he's OG.
Yeah.
That's probably the sleeves fell off from all
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
riding.
He fought those sleeves off.
He remembers when
Those
his,
sleeves came off from too much punching.
he remembers when his old lady's tits didn't hang that low.
You know what it was? He couldn't fit those pythons in
No,
the fucking
right, right.
sleeves anymore.
Yeah, back when he had 26-inch pythons. Yeah, they didn't fit in the regular sleeves. He had to open those up.
Oh
Is that why he's
man.
wearing those chaps too? His ass wouldn't fit.
His ass wouldn't fit in there.
Yeah.
No, he just burned his ass right out.
Right.
Yeah, that's exactly it. Yeah,
So our
yeah.
chaps, they're just to protect you from road debris. 'Cause
Yeah.
if you go down, he's right. Your ass is just grinding off.
Right.
Yeah. Do you know the idea? I mean, if we have to say
Well,
it.
they're horse stuff, right?
Yeah.
So it's from cowboy
it is
days.
horse. It
right.
is horse.
And that makes
yes.
sense.
Right. It's from cowboy days. You didn't want to sit on leather.
Yeah.
Right.
You know, you're sitting on a saddle.
Right.
Then you got your jeans or some other pants.
Well, because your thighs get really fucking beat up.
Yes.
Like
Right.
the,
Well,
side
you're-
of the side of a horse sucks.
No. It's what the horse decides to put you against.
Right.
It sucks.
That too.
Right.
So your legs become the bumpers between the horse and whatever the horse decides you need to rub against.
Right.
So if you're not wearing chaps,
'Cause-
then you are going to have destroyed jeans and destroyed legs.
Because keep in mind, horses are assholes.
Well,
They are.
horses are not necessarily along with the idea.
My daughter now has a hit on you. For saying-
Look, I dated a horse girl for 18
Yeah.
years. Horses are assholes.
It's just that thing is like
or
if you and the horse decide that you don't have the same idea,
Right, no.
then the horse is going to say, "Well, at some moment
They're-
I realize I'm 1,100 pounds, you're 200
Yeah.
pounds. I'm going to run you into this pine tree."
Yeah. I don't want to do that.
well, that's
we're
that's
done
been
with
my
this idea.
argument. So like I bought that 4-wheeler for B, and she loves it. And she's
That
out
what?
there.
Oh, the
four-wheeler, little
Yeah.
TRX 125.
Yeah. Yeah.
And she's out there, and my wife would be like, "Oh, it's so dangerous." And I'm like, "That bike weighs 305 pounds,
Yeah.
and if it launches, she's gonna clear it."
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
A horse can just
Yeah.
sit on her.
Oh yeah.
It's like 1,500
Look,
pounds.
I loved
A lot of respectable people have been kicked by horses.
I love draft horses because they're big and dumb and stupid and big dogs. Like they're your Great Dane, but like multiplied by 27.
Oh yeah.
They're great horses, but they will fucking kill you because they don't give a shit. They don't know any better, but they will
horse,
fucking
A girl I dated had a half Arabian that was also half retarded, and I used that in the politically
that sounds
correct
like
sense of the term.
that sounds like an Arabian.
And
yes.
I think
Yeah.
horses can be retarded.
Every single
yeah.
time,
Well,
I'm like, "So you have a horse? Yeah. Do you
they're-
ride the horse? Oh no." But you have a horse, yes, and you have a barn for the horse, yes, and you have a stable for the horse, yes, and you play the horse music all night long, yes, and you feed the horse and you take care of the horse, yes. Can you ride the horse? Not anymore.
Wait, you ready? You want to hear the best part of this?
Yeah.
So my wife and daughter,
Yeah.
each pay $150 a month to be in the horse club. So like this lady has a horse and she leases part of the horse out.
sounds about right.
So
Do you
they
get to pick the part?
No, wait, listen. So they
I can tell you what part I'm
the
picking.
same-
usually the poo.
the same girl that I'm like, "Can you please pick your room up? There's shit all over your room."
Right.
Dad, I'm tired. I'll pick up a sock, whatever. She pays $150 a month and goes twice a week to clean shit up.
Yep.
In a fucking horse stall.
Yep.
And then maybe if the horse is in a good mood once a month, she gets to trot on it for
Yeah,
5 minutes.
this sounds about right.
And I'm like, you're paying. So the lady that owns the horse is like, this fucking suckers are
a
paying
great
me
deal.
money and they clean up the stall for me.
Yeah.
And then she goes and rides the horse when she wants to.
It's like Tom.
But meanwhile, my daughter and wife are petting and cleaning and rubbing. And
Yeah, they got a horse share.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, that is exactly.
They're-
It's a horse share.
Their part of the horse share includes the horse shit.
Yeah. That makes sense, right? I'm so happy part of my paycheck goes toward that. Well, and my wife's. I mean, we're equal opportunity.
Yeah.
Whatever.
So they made you the horse's ass.
Yeah, that is.
That does.
Well, but the funny part is,
I'm
though,
deeply invested in horse shit.
my daughter hates when my wife can't go because, like, when my wife goes with her, I'm sure they help her.
Yeah.
I have no part of it. I sit outside and just
Oh
sit
no,
there.
that's
no.
it.
I'll bring a J. I'm fucking in the
Right.
background. fucking hanging out.
I spent a good time with my ex.
She was a hunter jumper.
She was a hunter jumper.
Yeah.
And catering for this giant monster of a fucking horse. And I liked the horse. It was a great horse. But the problem is the horse likes to shit.
That's kind of what they do.
And the funny part is,
Have you seen what they eat, Tom?
Exactly. Like it's kibble and hay.
Right.
Like kibble and hay is what they go in for. And then the funniest part is the neighbor next to that area had burros, little tiny donkeys. Mm-hmm. And somewhere in my Facebook, there's this picture of like 7 faces of these donkeys that are like, "What are you doing, mister?" I'm like, "Oh my God, I like those." And they're like, "Yeah, those are for coyotes. They make sure to kick the shit out of them whenever they come around the horses.
They don't like dogs.
They don't like dogs."
Anyways, horses suck. End of the whole thing right there.
So horses are like motorcycles for people that can't commit.
No, I've had these arguments though. I'm like, because like we'll bring up the animal thing, and my wife's like, blah, 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 "You have motorcycles." I'm like, dude, I can leave them in the garage for 2 years. And my life will suck because I'll have to clean some shit, but they ain't gonna dead. They're not gonna die. Yeah, nobody's feeding them. I don't have to have a caretaker come and fucking massage the gas tank and make sure it shits or does whatever. I don't know. Oh, I've had
I will be your gas tank massager.
Sean, if you could.
Yeah, right.
Maybe just work the shocks a little
Oh
bit.
yeah,
so
I
that
could, yeah.
So anyway, if you have a draft horse and you're around Cleveland, I would like to come visit your horse. I don't want to
Just go to Chardon. You're fine. Yeah.
Tom, anytime you want to visit a horse, you're more than welcome to go with my daughter and wife.
Yeah.
I'm sure they'll have a shovel they can hand you to.
They would
Oh
totally.
no, I want
end
nothing
it.
to do with that part of it.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
all right,
that's,
so this is leather culture. This is dude.
This is let's make sure we give the salutations correctly, since we're talking about how Harley Davidson's not gay.
Look,
because
if
they're, you
at
know-
this point in your life you don't understand that Harley Davidson is intrinsically tied to gay culture,
Right.
you don't know shit about Harley's history.
Hello, donkey.
Yeah, really.
So this is the Satyrs Motorcycle Club in Los Angeles. These are all veterans. These are all Korea War veterans, Vietnam War veterans.
Yeah.
This is the Satyrs Motorcycle Club in Los Angeles, California.
Because you had a lot of guys coming back from the Asian theater after World War II. You had a lot of guys coming back from Korea because it was right after World War II.
This picture on the bottom, if you look carefully, you can see there's a Honda Superhawk in the background on the right-hand side. You'll see there's a Triumph Bonneville on the left-hand side.
Yeah.
I would say this picture is probably taken about 1967, 1968.
This was right before Sonny Barger or whatever said, "Only Harley Davidson."
Well, and the funniest part about that is later on in his life, he literally said,
Yeah,
if I could have gone with a Goldwing,
Right.
I would have gone with a Goldwing
Yeah.
because they were more comfortable for long distance delivering drugs.
Just a lot of things.
If I was going to traffic drugs, I would want a Goldwing over a freaking Harley.
See, I don't know though, man. Riding that Springer in the front end, I found him getting all the parts for the front
Yeah.
end. So the front end is still a little loose, but it's not dangerous.
Yeah.
But everything else that is now fixed, that's a comfortable fucking bike to
very
ride to
comfortable.
work.
Would you
dude.
rather ride 140 miles an hour racing away from a cop on that
Well, I would have
or on a Honda Goldwing while you're trafficking drugs? Because that's what you're looking at.
Well, I've never. I mean, I don't even.
You don't
believe in
traffic drugs.
Right.
I,
Why would I traffic?
Why would I traffic drugs?
That seems foolish.
I mean,
It's like bringing sand to the beach. Honestly, at this point,
let's be fair. If you're in a certain motorcycle
I'm
club,
going
you
to traffic drugs.
Yeah.
No, I'm not going to traffic drugs. I'm going to traffic motorcycles.
right.
the problem is, like, listen, I'm all about criminal activity,
Right.
But
Right.
you got to be smart about your criminal activity.
Yeah.
You can't partake in your fucking product, and that's where I'm fucking. I can't. What am I going to do?
Don't get high on your own supply.
Yeah,
high on your-
that ain't gonna happen. If I have a supply, I'm getting fucking high.
To be let's go and preface this. We're not making fun of the idea. We're actually commenting on what he has actually said, which is I would rather have my ass in a sofa than on one of those.
You know what I know?
things.
Do you know what I realized just now? Without Meckel, Fresh, or Smith
Yeah.
here, we don't have an anchor.
We're
Just fucking.
We're just off the goddamn rails.
We are adrift.
We're off the goddamn rails.
We are adrift.
Yeah. Well, I believe that this whole idea for us, or at least for me, looking at this whole thing, is the silliness of what we do.
Dude, that looks like these guys here,
Right.
though. That looks like a real brotherhood. Those looks like those guys don't
Wait,
look
wait.
like they're like showing off or trying to be puffed up chest.
Yeah.
Like I'm badass.
Well, these are the satyrs,
It looks
right?
like they're having fucking fun, and they're like, man, we're a bunch of dudes having fun.
That's still the satyrs, right?
Yeah, this is the same. This is the same group.
Yeah.
So when you see the movie The Bike Riders, that was happening in Chicago. This was happening in Los Angeles
Yeah.
at the same exact time. It's just a different slide. I mean, it's a different angle on the same scene.
And we
Right.
okay, and I don't think we covered this because we got an invite.
It's warmer there.
Are you doing that? No, I was being honest. We went to the Bike Riders and we covered this.
Right.
And that was a very heteronormal Chicago coming up motorcycle group.
No, that was Gay Chicken in the middle.
Yeah, I was just gonna say it was.
It was gay.
If you could have seen my face sitting next to Renee when that scene was happening,
Well,
I was
that's
like,
true.
I looked over my shoulder. I was like, Sean's back there. I want to see how Sean's
I know,
reacting
I
to this. Because I was
but-
straight. I was 100% like, oh, dude, they're going to kiss.
But, like-
this is going to turn this movie from being a 4 to a 9.
right.
If these two guys kiss right now, if they make out,
I mean,
I am 100% like,
we all would
Wow.
we all would have paid good money for that actually.
yeah,
But
no, because I think it might have addressed something that.
well, whether or not, yeah, because even if whether or not they had kissed or they didn't, they clearly hit that.
well, yeah.
yes, they did.
Yeah.
I like the fact that the pictures you have right there.
Yeah.
If you put your thumb over the guy, it could have been last week at fucking Smedley's.
Right.
The bikes look exactly the
Right.
fucking same.
Right.
58.
But that's the whole thing is that leather culture and Harley Davidson's cross like that is how it works. That is the arc.
Okay.
And
We're 47 minutes into the fact that Gay and Harley are the same.
now we're
and
now
that I'm okay with
I
that.
am too. I'm fine. But I think we got it. I think
all
we're
right,
there.
anyway, so now some dumb shit bullshit asshole from what fucking bullshit
Well,
asshole
But I guess
Arkansas?
what I would like to say is, let's lean into it
Okay.
rather than
Shit, wait,
making
Let
it-
him win.
And
Yeah.
are Sleepy and I gonna have to make out now?
No,
No, that ain't happening, dude.
That ain't happening.
No, I've got a poster from 1978 from Hein Gericke.
I have high standards for my men. I'm sorry.
And I'm
and this
a lowbrow.
poster from 1978 Hein Gericke is of a couple of fellas standing next to a BMW motorcycle, and they are resplendent in black leather,
Yeah.
from the tips of their toes until the tips of their fingers.
Did they have the weirdly round, squared, patched, like
Yes.
for unknown reasons?
For unknown reasons,
Yeah.
the embroidered armor.
Yeah, and it wasn't a square, and
No,
it wasn't.
no, no.
It was like a
It's a
rounded,
rounded
it's like
square.
a rhombus.
Rundell.
Well, it looks like a pineapple.
Rundell.
Yeah.
Right. It look yeah. But this idea of this sort of like, hey, look, I'm into motorcycles, I'm into bikes, I'm into all this kind of stuff. I'm going to go out and I'm going to go find myself on the side of a mountain with other men.
We're gonna make a club.
My family's going to
No women
Yeah.
allowed.
No women allowed.
and I may spend so much money that I'm broke,
Right.
but I'll be back on that mountain as soon as I can be. Every chance I
broke
get.
and back on the mountain.
And if I can be broke back on that mountain, whether it's such as Georgia or wherever, I have been to so many motorcycle events in my life that have been devoid of only one thing, and that's the fairer sex.
Yeah.
And the guys are having a great time, and we're just doing our thing and hanging out and being mentions. I've also been to several bathhouses, which meet the exact same description.
Schwitz.
Right.
Crankcase Mountain.
What are you guys going to do? We're going to do petcock training later
Petcock
on.
training.
Right.
Loop jobs.
We're going to lube jobs and petcock training. There's a certain thing about it that is like men, they were very, very manly men.
We constantly talk about how there aren't, because like we would welcome the fairer sex into this group and talk about fairer.
Nobody's ever survived.
I know. Like Renee is like, no, I'm not doing
Renee
that.
knows better than this.
Renee's knows better than
Right. She has to deal with this when she's getting paid. She's
I
not going to do it
know.
for free.
No, Renee's been mature for a long time.
Yeah.
Compared to us.
Well, she is the adult between, like, it is Phil, myself, and Renee is the adult.
Always. Yes.
So, but like,
Everyone knows who really works the place.
well, she runs the show.
Yeah.
We dance to her like she has the
There
organ
is
grinding.
one reliable mechanical gear in the middle of this shit show.
Yeah.
And it's not me.
Yeah.
Right.
It's certainly not me.
Right. I'm just dancing on the periphery.
I was there. This has been years ago, but I was there the morning that Renee opened up, and you were still laying on the floor.
I was laying on the floor. Exactly.
But like
In the planetary gear set that is our shop.
I'm gonna go out there.
Renee is the sun.
I have followed several ladies on Instagram who are motorcycle bikers.
Stalker.
Well, yes, I am. But like, I keep looking at this. I'm like, if y'all want to show up, because Liza is not a really good example of somebody who could show up for this, but she is
Uncle
one
Liza?
of the few women
Yeah.
that are in the motorcycle podcast community.
There's a ton of them. And I'm not going to sell
And
it
there's a
short.
bunch.
There's a fucking ton of women that ride, and there's more and more all the time, and we salute that.
dude,
That's fantastic.
absolutely.
Motorcycle Misfits are like 50% women, aren't
I'm
they?
going to
basically?
promise you this. There's an entire group called the Speed Clams that we
Yeah.
would love
Yeah.
to have
Oh my
here
god!
any day of the week.
Hey, when y'all-
Best fucking sticker I've ever seen.
However, I can promise you, knowing some of the members, that their tolerance of what we have going on, well,
is probably
it's pretty minimal.
low, yeah.
Right. That's exactly
But like,
it.
y'all want to show up? Let us know
Yeah.
because we will cook a barbecue. We'll cook.
Yeah.
Have you ever been to a Weeblos meeting?
No,
I told you
Oh,
that's
the-
how I cracked my rib.
we like the little what is it?
The Boy Scouts.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, well, okay,
Weeblos.
we yeah, okay.
Low grade Boy Scouts.
Yeah, yeah.
yeah.
That's how-
Weeblos.
Like I said,
Yeah.
that's how I cracked my rib on the Bridge of Life.
The Bridge of Life. Right. This is my point. Is as much tolerance as you'd have for being in a Weeblos meeting
Right.
is how much tolerate
Yeah, yeah.
Shannon Wilson
But see,
or any of our
they're
friends would
adults.
have for being in this environment.
But
with
they're
us
very
right here, right now.
deceiving though,
Right.
because you can't have a name like Speed Clams and not be fucking like funny.
Yeah.
Like that's the greatest name.
They
I've
are
ever-
funny.
Yeah.
Oh, but just not our.
Than
fun.
we are.
Oh, okay.
They are funny
if-
than we are.
We're like the JV squad.
So they're at the $20.
We're the Weeblos.
$20.
Oh,
In case you didn't know where we were on the food chain.
Right.
Do they have a podcast I can listen to?
Oh shit. So there we are being.
I want to know more.
They're like us, but they stay on
Speedy
topic.
Pete, the newest of the Speed
The
Clams.
freshest speed clam out there.
Can we be on their podcast?
A Harbor Fresh speed clam, if you were. Yeah, a bright, fresh speed clam.
Like that's the kind of wordage. When we were in Cincinnati, I
Yeah.
was just shooting all the different bikes, and I went by and it was like a double take because I was shooting the gas tank because it had all these cool stickers on it. It was like a red BMW 650 or something. And I go in and I'm looking in this camera screen and it says Speed Clams, and I just stop and I'm like, that's the greatest sticker I've ever seen in my life, dude.
Yeah, you got to give them credit. If you want it done right,
Yeah.
that's how you do it. Yeah, surround
it's-
yourself with smart women.
I just love the word clam.
'Cause
You
the-
just stick clam in anything, and it's the greatest thing ever.
Well,
Then
because
speed in front of it, come on.
Hey, if it's 4 letters and starts with a C, I'm in.
Well, from our end, Phil.
Me too.
Careful.
I'm going to tell you. Nothing wrong with that.
So Phil, Secret Cervix.
Yes, the Secret Cervix.
Secret Cervix.
One of my favorite scooter clubs ever. The Secret Cervix.
Secret Cervix.
No men allowed. Yeah, that was it. That guaranteed good time.
Good times.
Guaranteed good times. Yeah. So I rode today. I showed up today on a 1988 BMW
Oh, yeah.
R100 RT.
A time capsule, which was
It
I
is a
thought-
time capsule.
it
1 minute
is.
into the podcast, that's what I thought you were talking about.
Yeah.
So that was why I said time
Right,
capsule.
time capsule.
Yeah.
See, we brought it back.
One of our friends of the shop that I bought and sold bikes from over the
Hang
years.
on one
Yeah.
second. So, for those of you listening at home,
Yeah.
Harley Davidson, leather culture,
No.
fuck anybody would say the word Harley Davidson is woke. So, fuck you. Let's move on. Anyway, BMW.
We had, and now you just came back.
I was gonna say.
no, we're going back for the BMW.
If you say that Harley Davidson is woke, I'm 100% there with you. I hope they're woke.
yeah, I hope
I
they're
want them to
woke.
be woke
Yeah,
because
It's
I
not a
also
bad word.
I also
It is
consider
not a
myself
bad
to be
word.
quite woke.
I am woke as shit. Let's move on.
Yeah, right. Yeah, and if that's a bad thing,
Well, then fuck you.
I just don't see where it's a bad thing. I'm having trouble parsing
No.
this is a bad thing.
I just hate any time
That
people put
uses the
name-
word fucking woke? Yeah, I hate those guys. They're fucking stupid as shit.
Yeah,
Tom, did he have Ritalin today, or what's going on with this guy over here?
Yeah.
he's up.
No, but
I've had
I
a lot-
hate definitions. So, like, I don't
had a lot of
care what
bourbon.
you call anything or do anything like that. It doesn't really make a difference. It's the actions and stuff that you do
Yeah.
it. And most of the people I see on Harleys, that are around me are usually newer Harley riders, and
Yeah.
they kind of have that attitude. The only people you see that are crusty and bitchy are the dudes that are like 75 and they're losing their time and whatever.
Exactly.
So let's just move on.
So let's move on
Right.
to the Airhead.
Let's move on to the Airhead. Yay, the Airhead. I'll open this up so our folks at home can see it. The
just pick
motorcycle
one.
came my way. The motorcycle came my way from one of our shop friends, and we've bought and sold many, many bikes to each other. It's been a great relationship. And he gets tired of a bike, and I go, hey, that's cool, but maybe I'd like to have it for a little while. And so this particular motorcycle is an R100 RT. It's 1988, which means it has the single swing
Yep.
arm, the monoshock situation going on.
This
Kinda
is everything you would ever want in a BMW Airhead ever. This is the ultimate bike. And
circa
I'm not gonna lie,
1988.
circa 1988.
Yeah, circa 1988.
But Airhead guys, this is the monoshock. This is the electronic ignition. This is Nikasil cylinders. This is the 100cc. This is the
and more importantly, if you were stuck in the storm that hit us 2 days ago, you wouldn't get wet if you kept moving forward.
Yeah, it is a lot of windshield.
yeah.
So yeah, this particular bike
And it's got all the mirror. Look
has
at
done
that mirror.
Oh, yeah.
under 27,000 miles.
Yeah.
That the mirror's forced perspective. It's not
Oh, okay.
as big as an elephant's ear.
No,
It looks like
That's just forced perspective.
it looks
it
like you're
is-
about to cut the back of your hair.
The motorcycle does have lower fairings that the previous owner removed because his
It's-
feet were too big.
It's freaking beautiful.
It's kind of a cool bike.
Yeah.
It's kind of a neat machine. It's one of those things that, when BMW built this bike, they were getting their ass handed to them in the 1000cc class by anything that wasn't a BMW.
Yep.
And
Well, this is after they introduced the K100 and K75, and everybody went, no, we like the Airhead. And they went, oh, fuck, we got to build that damn thing again?
yeah, there was definitely
totally
a
what they did.
situation where they were like, well, I guess if they want it,
Yeah.
if they'll buy it,
Yeah.
right, and they did,
and they
kept buying it.
did. Like
Yeah, they kept buying it.
this became this was still a real popular bike.
Yeah.
The K100 and the K75 are superior bikes as far as riding goes. But this is, if you want an Airhead, the best bike you can possibly buy.
Now about that, it's not enthusiastic.
No.
It's not in a hurry to get anywhere. It reminds you that it's old. I have a couple of BMWs from the 70s.
Yeah.
I've had some BMWs from the 60s. And what this is this is a BMW from the 70s, or I'm sorry, this is a BMW from the 80s that is actually a BMW from the 70s.
Because it did not improve past the R100/6 or the R90/6.
I just don't think that when you consider in 1988 that you could have had the Goldwing 1200 that was available, that was all singing, all dancing,
Yeah.
did everything on the planet in 1988.
Could have blue and white Gixxer 1000.
You could have had a very capable GSX-R 1000, right? There's a whole lot of motorcycles,
I mean, the Katana literally existed.
a lot of bikes. There were a shit ton of bikes that existed in 1988
Yeah.
that were better at sport touring than this bike was. But it was still a BMW.
Yeah.
And what Tom pointed out earlier is that this was them saying, hey, remember that bike we perfected and then said we weren't going to do anymore? Let's bring it back and make it so it will last 300,000 miles.
And it will. Because we talked about this at Mid-Ohio. And you guys laughed at me.
Still on?
When I said,
That wasn't the reason.
I know. Well, everybody laughs at me anyway. But I said, y'all were looking for the most reliable motor you could possibly
Right.
buy. And I said, Airhead. And y'all went, ha, 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 ha. And I said, no. That motor right there
Yeah.
will do 1,000,000 miles.
It absolutely will. Yeah.
And everybody was like, no, it won't. I'm like, yes. it
Yeah,
will.
a /7 is a pretty good example of BMW getting to the point
Yep.
where they've got that platform fucking well
Yep.
nailed down.
That
Do
is
they sell a FI conversion for this?
fuel injection. You could probably. I don't. You'd probably have to homebrew it, but yeah. But the
I would
problem is
argue you don't need to.
the problem is
I would argue you don't need to.
40 millimeter roller flat slides exist for that motor, and if you want anything else, you're dumb.
Right. This is a pretty safe place to be. I've got a friend that runs a version of this motorcycle in the Baja 1000 every
Yeah.
year.
Yeah.
that's 1,000 miles through Baja. On this platform. So
I'm doing the thing.
There's some pretty cool. There's some pretty
weird.
But what I will tell you is, if you look at it and you're like, oh yeah, I really want to own that. I really want to have one of those. Figure out a way to let somebody ride. You like take a ride on one first, because it's like somebody saying, well, you'd like to have less power than a Versys 650.
Yeah.
But more curious handling. It's very curious.
It is the best example of what it is, but it will still beat you to death.
I performed a remarkably sporty, spirited U-turn in my parking lot today with this. And the bike had 3 totally different turn-in points.
Yep.
Different parts of this vehicle turned in at different times. And they didn't all arrive at the same time.
No, absolutely
So
not.
the front of it turned in when I started the turn in. And then it's a weird point, the gas tank joined in.
Yep.
And then at a later point, a top case full of lead ingots that I don't have joined the chat.
Yep.
So at some point on my exit line, the back of the bike became very high, though I thought I had a passenger and I didn't. But that's what happened, was the bike had sort of kind of said, oh, well, we're doing a tight U-turn now. I would finally like to help. And so I almost dumped the bike in my own parking lot at 7 miles an hour, because
Which would have been a shame, because I noticed there were no scratches on those cases.
there's no scratches on the cases
no.
or the fucking heads, the valve covers,
Or the bike. It's beautiful.
nothing.
Yeah.
The bike
It
is perfect.
It is. That is the ultimate airhead. Like it, because
Yeah.
I told you about the Mystic.
So this is going to be the Bring a Trailer special.
You know, that's funny. I should have got one of these a long time ago when I had my company, because I had a company called Airhead Media, because it was
that's
all
right.
aerial stuff.
Aerial stuff.
I could have just put media on the side of it, and then they'd be like, "What do you mean? It's an Airhead?" Yeah, okay. Wah, wah.
For the newer children in the room, what
Yeah.
defines an airhead?
So
Usually she's
Pete,
bubbly.
Yeah.
I'm going to have Pete do this, because
Or him.
Pete actually has a long history with this bike.
Yes.
Well, BMW came out with this configuration of a motor in 1923. Actually, prior to that with airplanes, but their first motorcycle was in 1923. And see the head that's facing us right there? Mm-hmm. It's hanging out in the air. When you drive it through the air, it's being cooled by the air. As were early Japanese motorcycles, or any motorcycle. They weren't exclusively BMW that was using air cooling technology.
Sure.
But BMW stuck with it for a long, long time.
Yep.
Then they eventually went to an oil head where they pumped oil through there to cool the head, and then they eventually succumbed, and now they're water cooled like everybody else, but still the same motor configuration. Any BMW you see with the R before the model number tells you it has that motor layout. The opposed twin, the boxer motor.
Okay.
That's a radial engine.
So this is a BMW engine before
Yeah.
it became a motorcycle
Yeah.
engine. This was their moneymaker. So the idea was that BMW had quite a long history. If you look at the bottom of that motor, you'll see a rondelle there.
Yep.
And that rondelle is...
Because the BMW Rondelle represents its airplane configuration.
So this...
Oh yeah.
with
Yeah, it does.
Yeah,
It
yeah,
legitimately
it's the propeller,
does.
Yeah.
Like that is the idea behind the Rondelle on a BMW.
Right now, Pete's biting his tongue.
No, I'm not. I'm okay
Well, no,
with that.
yes.
It's a spinning propeller. I think that's
Yeah.
that's the lore.
That is the lore.
But you
If Pete's got an alternative to this, I'm good for it.
no, I have no alternative. But just imagine this motor with a propeller attached to it spinning. How much air it's pumping across those
Oh, yeah.
cylinders? That's
Yeah.
what's keeping it cool.
Because, okay, so those of us of the Vespa Piaggio lore know that Piaggio they built bombers in World War II. Like, Italy built Piaggio bombers. Like, that was the thing. And then the front fork on the earliest 48 Vespas were all tail dragger front ends from the bomber because they had leftovers. And the aluminum was all from their bombing. They could not build airplanes after World War II.
Nor could the Germans.
Nor could the Germans. Which is why BMW went back to building motor, because this was the era of the BMW Isetta and everything else, where they couldn't build airplanes, they couldn't build bombers. They were like, well, let's build motorcycles and cars.
And I think in Piaggio's case, they also built trains for a little bit too.
Yep.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So that's where you come into this whole post World War II. Okay, you have to make good for all the shit you did the past 4 or 5 years.
Well, and be an economic contributor of some kind.
Exactly. And so pre-war, you had very basic motorcycles. They were very pressed steel, bolted together, and then I actually worked on a Luftwaffe R32, I guess. But they also had some amazing cars before the war. And then after the war, they had a lot of, well, let's just get us back into commerce. And that's where the R26 and the R32 and the and on and on and on. And the Rondell was literally, hey, we built airplanes once upon a time.
Until the former founder of BMW said, that's not what happened. So BMW has long done nothing to dispel the myth, explains Fred Jacobs of BMW Group Classic.
Oh,
the
God.
interpretation has been commonplace for over 90 years, which somehow legitimizes it. It is simply a section of the Bavarian flag.
Or the Samsung.
Samsung Galaxy
Right.
Flip.
It is simply the Bavarian Samsung Galaxy flag. Right. Exactly. Yep. And yay. So what he says was,
What'd he say?
They weren't allowed to. So they reversed it, and they reversed it because you weren't allowed to have national flags or regional flags to be a part of your trademark. So they literally flipped it around. And because the name of the company was originally the Rapp Motor and Werk from 1913, which built motorcycle or airplane engines, and they changed the name in 1917 to the Bayerisch Motor and Werk,
Bearish Motor Working.
or BMW.
Yeah.
And so they didn't have a logo because the Rapp logo is the knight on the
Knight,
left,
yeah.
right, the horsey. So that was the Rapp Motor Work, and they decided, well, to work with that, we'll just grab the Bavarian flag. And they got in trouble for grabbing the Bavarian flag, so they just flipped it at 180 because they said, well, if it's blue field on the left in the upper thing, it's no longer the German flag of the state of Bavaria. It's reversed.
Yeah.
And so they were now compliant with the law that prohibited the use of national emblems for logos. However, somebody looked at it,
That is funny.
and when somebody looked at it and said, well, this is quite clearly a propeller from one of their marketing exploits, somebody went, we'll run with it.
Well, because
We'll run with it. And they did, and they ran with it.
Because Baron Motorworks is
Bayerisch Motor and
Let's
Werk.
go Bayerisch.
Bayerisch Motor.
I always thought it was Bavarian Motorworks.
It is.
Bayern is Bavaria.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I'm a little slow with
That's all it
that.
is.
Well, no.
Foreign
Rich.
languages.
It's you got to work into it because it's
Just okay.
Americans speaking foreign languages will always suck.
Right.
well,
just like the pill company Bayer.
Right.
Bayer.
Oh, right.
Bayer.
so
Right,
so
right,
how do you
right.
how do
You're
you
right,
pronounce
right.
how do you pronounce Kiev?
Kiev.
Kiev.
Yeah. Unless you're buying chicken, in which case it's chicken Kiev,
Chicken Kiev.
and which is not anything correct at all.
But in which case it's delicious.
It is still delicious.
right.
It's chicken deliciousness.
Chicken delicious.
Yeah, so we have this motorcycle now, and since we have this motorcycle, I thought it'd be fun that I think Tom's right. I think we should throw that bitch up on Bring a Trailer and see what happens.
I mean, if you want, okay,
Let's see what happens.
That's the
wait,
perfect
wait.
bike. That is
Hang
the
on.
perfect bike for Bring a Trailer because
So-
the audience that looks at it are the 70-year-old dudes that are like, I really miss my 88
So
Airhead.
let's stop this for just 1 second. If you are a podcast listener, if you are hearing our voices now, and you want the ultimate BMW R100, send Phil your offer of. I would spend a goddamn fortune to buy the ultimate R100. You have 1 week,
I
and then it's
disagree.
going to
I
Bring a Trailer.
think we should just put it on BAT right quick and hurry.
Dude, let me bring over my little 3-inch Griot
See,
fucking
I told
polish
you.
wheel with the soft pad. We will put a 2-inch gloss on that fucker, put it
Yeah.
on Bring a Trailer, and that thing will be like,
Yeah.
No, you can make that thing sing.
That is
it's from Griot's
You
garage.
are aware that none of the people on Bring a Trailer can see this in person.
No, but you can see
They're all looking at the same images.
Yeah, but
Doesn't
when
matter.
you get the close-ups and you get that deep shine going,
Okay.
guys, they won't be able to see the bike because their screens will be coated.
Oh, I like coated screens. I like it. Yeah, I'm definitely of the opinion that I'm like,
This is because, like I said, I'd own this bike except for the fact that I know that this is totally a test of Bring a Trailer.
well, and what Tom's not mentioning that he knows about is in my warehouse right now, I have not one, not two, but 3 other Airheads.
Yeah.
I have 3 other R bikes. I have 2 other R90s and 1 R75, right?
And if I need to dance,
That are all just sitting
go
there.
get them.
And, if you're like, oh, I need to ride a bike that's quirky and weird and shakes at the lights, when you crack the throttle, the bike wants to fall on the ground. I want to do that. We have a lot of those. There's no shortage of those.
I did not know that happened.
If you want to do some amyl, we have that.
I mean,
When I rode Smith's California or whatever that thing is, or what is that thing?
Oh, that
It's the Eldorado, California.
Monster?
I was at
Yeah.
the stoplight. I'm sitting there. I'm like, hey, how you doing?
Are you
I went,
blipping throttle?
and it went, whoa. I was like, hello there.
Yeah.
Flywheel.
that's we
Flywheel, 2 pistons,
we've
about
had that.
75 pounds of junk.
Yeah.
All trying to throw you on the ground.
Yeah. I just did not know that the torque would transport at a light.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well,
yeah.
if it's not going out the back tire,
Right.
it has to go somewhere.
Right.
like that
Rotational mass.
And the big problem is I want to finish the red on black Ambassador in the back.
Yeah.
Because that's the bike I want to ride.
Yeah.
Because that's my shit.
It's a delightful bike.
It is.
Yeah,
It is.
It's a delightful bike.
And
It's
I
one of those bikes where you can
I
just...
was the dumbass that pulled
Right.
it apart right before winter.
it
thinking
was
would be
running.
done.
I rode it.
Well, yeah, but it had a bad main seal.
And that bad
I
main seal
wanted
would
to
have
fix
only
that.
leaked for the next 400 years.
And I wanted to fix it.
I would have had to put a pint of oil in there every 10 years.
It was leaking pretty good.
A quart of oil in there every 10 years.
And my Ambassador...
And that still is not even close to being a 2-stroke.
And my Ambassador does the same
Or a Harley.
thing.
Right, or-
Well, yeah.
Or a Vespa. Right. I mean, that's just what
so
it
anyway,
is.
if you're listening at home
Right.
and you want to own the
I think it'll be fun.
If you're listening
R100,
anywhere,
Right.
Yeah, right.
Somebody else's home,
If you're in your car,
perhaps.
go home before you listen to the rest of the
if you're listening in the toilet and you want to know R100,
Yeah.
Oh, man.
because it is an amazing motorcycle.
How much do you pay him? Because, I'm thinking I could add to it to just...
Oh, yeah. Well, the only way it could have been better, this motorcycle probably would have been a keeper.
let me boil it down.
Let me break it down for you.
Or boil it down.
Break it
What Tom
down.
was saying. If you want to be uncomfortable for a really long time, a bike that'll last for a long time.
It will.
And it's a classic.
It's only got
This is your machine.
27,000 miles.
I mean, you're not going to show up. Nobody's going to get mad at you for having this. Most people will be pleasantly
Oh, is
happy.
that Rob Capel's bike?
Yeah. So had the motorcycle that I just acquired been on the opposite end of the color spectrum, I'd be keeping it. Because
Yeah.
this is the bike that when I was 9 years old, that I was like, that's the one, right? Or whatever.
What do they call that when the BMWs do the airbrushing lines? Isn't there a specific for that color, Pete? It's the
Oh, is this the
something-
thing they do?
Well, like the R90S and the orange
Yes.
and gray. I
Yeah.
think
Well,
that was
they called
the-
it like this
The orange was the Daytona.
Daytona orange, but then they made the smoke gray.
They had
one,
smoke
into
gray,
black,
yeah.
or silver into black.
And
guess
I
it was.
actually passed one off a couple of weeks ago that was about stupidly cheap.
What I think was funny was BMW used the fact that these were painted by hand.
Yeah.
That one of the 2 colors was painted by hand, thereby making each and every motorcycle unique.
Right.
And I went poorly. Because when you look at these things, there is a lack of consistency of the thickness of the edge lines that drives me up the wall.
Which is, what makes awesome about that?
Yeah.
If you go on to any of the forums, Adventure Rider or something
Yeah.
where they have a BMW thing, there are guys that will argue for 7 days about whether or not it's an original paint job.
Right.
And you're like, how the fuck can you tell?
Yeah.
something
Like-
patina.
Yeah.
So-
I promise you,
Why
when
the
I look
fuck
at that
would you
bike and I go
care?
like, okay, on the outside of the fairing edges, it's about 3 inches deep of black. but then you get up to the top and it's like a quarter of an inch of black.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, you could have done so much better.
Yeah.
Like you could have done this bike.
Well, and the fade out is terrible.
The fade is awful.
Look, Quaaludes were a thing in the 70s. We get it.
The fade on this bike is awful. But again, I like this color combination. Had this been the bike in the driveway right now,
Sleepy,
I
all right.
probably wouldn't be selling it.
I could just see the quality control engine. Like,
Yeah.
okay, we do those on Friday. We get a little loosey-goosey.
I've been having lots of fun today.
You know what? That's
We're going to get a little crazy today.
that's
Loosey and a goosey.
We're going to do this thing we've never done before in German. It's called shading. We're going to go outside of the lines.
Get skate low.
So that's
We're going outside the lines.
that is a good question. Is what did it take for?
We're going to use two colors.
Wait.
Not the second one is not primary.
So the guy that decided this faded paint job
Right.
was the way to go.
Yeah.
I am going to go on a limb and say he was the guy that created the R1200C.
I'm going to say that Royal Enfield can paint 1.2 million gas tanks by hand with a horsehair, camel hair brush.
Yeah.
Never miss a beat with gold fucking hard to paint with pinstriping paint by hand.
Did you ever find yourself
And lay a color coat on top of chrome,
right?
and put a gold pinstripe around it and do it perfectly for 1.2 million gas tanks.
I watched 147,000 of them being made on a
Yeah.
YouTube channel at
Yeah.
4 a.m. when I couldn't
Yep.
sleep. I found that, and it was like exactly what you're talking about. It was Royal Enfield, this lady with a fucking brush. Perfect every fucking time.
Every
It was
fucking
unbelievable. It was
time.
and like I guess I watched 100 tanks get painted because I couldn't stop watching it. I was like, she's gonna fuck up.
She's going to fuck up.
and she didn't.
I'm watching, so she'll fuck up. She doesn't fuck up.
Well, just go back to the earlier BMWs when they were like just black tanks with
Yeah.
white pinstriping, and you can see those hand pinstripe lines, and they were done well.
Yep.
But this is an aberration here. Did I say aberration? I meant abortion.
It's all of the above.
man.
It is all of the above.
Pete is not a fan of
I mean,
the
I love
loosey-goosey.
it. I love how the fact that it
no.
looks like Meatloaf's Bad Out of Hell album cover. Like, it is just one of those,
Yeah.
like...
Prince
it is-
fucked up. He could have had a purple one of these with the fucking airbrushing on
yeah.
it. He didn't need to have the fucking CM400 or whatever the fuck he was riding.
Again, that's just it. That's it. So, had the bike been this one, it might have been a little bit more. This has the snowflake wheels and some things that press my buttons that
Yeah.
1988 out in the driveway doesn't have. But that's fine.
Sure is pretty though. I mean, it's still a beautiful bike for what it is. It's
Right,
That's
right.
clean. I've seen a lot of these things, and I've never seen one that clean.
Yeah, the one outside is pretty special. It's. I'm
prefer
going to put the lowers on it. And we'll sell it.
I prefer the Prussian blue.
Yes.
Yeah, Pete's excited it doesn't have the loosey-goosey paint on it.
Yeah.
No, it's very much, and it does have the pinstriping. It was laid on with laser efficiency, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. It has the BMW rear top case that is the not big and not small.
No.
But the medium BMW top case, which I was joking when I first saw it. I was like, oh, that's the medium BMW top case.
It's perfect to take a piece of strudel home.
I have
That's
never
about it.
seen.
Yes.
I've never seen that top case in person until I got this
For your
bike.
Schwarzwälder Kuchen.
I like the contents of your top case. That
Yes.
was amazing.
That's pretty cool, isn't it? Tell them what's in there.
No, it's yours. You did.
It's a BMW factory battery charger
Right.
with the what's the name of the plug, Pete?
No powerlet plug.
Powerlet plug.
Now, Phil.
Powerlet stuff.
Now, most
Powerlet
motorcycle battery chargers tend to be rather tiny.
Not this one.
No.
No. This was built before the use of things like printed circuit boards.
If your bus needs a charge, I'm sure.
I'm pretty sure this is a Schumacher. Yeah, I'm pretty sure this is the same one they sold at Sears,
Right.
Craftsman, but with a powerlet plug on the end of it.
When you pulled it out of the top case, the rear shock lifted a half
It
inch.
did. It was pretty healthy. Yeah, pretty healthy. I was bummed when I got the bike. I was like, oh, shit, the guy lost the folding BMW key.
Yeah.
Because there's a plastic-headed BMW key that folds flat when it's in your pocket, But then in the bike, it folds flat so that you don't have like a key sticking out of your dashboard because that would be like gauche.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Oh,
right.
yeah.
So I was like, oh man, I'm going to find one of those keys. And I found key blanks on eBay's or whatever for $40 a piece. And I was like, I'm going to spend the $40 so I have the BMW folding flat key.
Nice.
And then I went in the trunk and I realized, oh, there's the original key.
Well, that's even better.
The guy had
Yeah.
everything. He's got the service manual. He's got the whole thing.
No, you scored.
This is
thing's
the
beautiful.
monoshock. It's just whatever.
This is the airhead to own.
And I don't hate looking at it. I'm making fun of it. Driving it is like driving a Ural or some other, boxer.
But when you stand back, you had that one picture up before. This one doesn't exemplify it as
Right.
much, but the one before, the lines and how they did everything are beautiful, man.
They
Like,
are.
it really did a good job.
Oh no, it is an amazing motorcycle. It is the ultimate of everything you ever wanted in an airhead BMW.
At 43 horsepower.
Yeah.
For 1,000 cc's.
Yeah.
In a unexcited package. This is one of those things you're just like, yep, it's 1,000 cc's.
Well, it's power or reliability, and that balance. They went really heavy with.
If that's the case, if that's the argument, this is a chest of drawers.
Right.
Right.
Ouch.
It will run for a million
This is a
miles.
Louis Couture's armoire. It will be here forever.
Yeah.
Handed down generation.
It will be here forever.
Oh yeah.
But it's not going to get anybody super fired up.
No. You will
2020.
not be excited,
2245. They're
but
like,
it will run forever.
gasoline vehicles have been outlawed for over 200 years. How do you have this BMW?
This is getting really excited about the bricks in a Chicago street.
Right.
Oh,
Like I love it, but it is 30 years past its sell by date.
This is
about to
artisanal.
say.
This is artisanal pumpernickel.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's a 40-year-old machine,
Yes.
And
Right.
BMW's been making motorcycles for just like 102 years.
102 years,
Right.
exactly.
And it's it's gone back pretty far in their history. So in its day, it was quite the machine. But
Right.
when you ride it today
in
versus a modern machine, it's,
in 1976, this was the bee's knees.
Yeah,
In
I've got a 1973 version of this
Right.
exact same
It's
motorcycle
exact
in my
same
shed. Yeah,
frickin'
right.
bike.
Exactly. Right.
They did not change
No,
anything.
They really didn't. I mean, it's this and the TW200 right
Right.
now that we're
Right.
saying pretty much. Yeah,
because
that's good enough.
There are
When-
650s
when-
right there with
Right.
it.
when
It's good
this
enough.
because we were talking about this before.
Yeah.
When this bike happened because the K100 and the K75 came out, and everybody went, but I like the old one.
No, I think people were in a BMW with 3 cylinders. Heresy.
Yeah,
Not in my world.
Is the K1 the one with the weird front fender? And
absolutely.
Yeah.
It is-
I would take one of those.
The Ronald McDonald?
The
Yeah.
K100 was this entirely streamlined, crazy bike.
Is it
and
the
I-
K100 or the K1?
No, the
No,
K1.
You're talking different bikes here.
Yes, you are.
The K1 is
So you had the K75, which was the 3-cylinder. You had the K100, which was the 4-cylinder. And then you had the K1, which was the aerodynamic.
right.
I promise
That
you,
one right
you are
there.
talking about
That-
this
And
motorcycle.
I would take that bike.
I
That's
had,
fucking beautiful.
I had a guy a
I
couple
like the
of-
back on it almost
Yep.
as much as the front.
No. They're
great. It's
they're
one blue.
insane. The problem is this is a very limited edition bike.
Yes.
And I had a guy a couple of years ago say, "Look, I know where one of these is. It's in pieces. Would you like it?" I said, "Fuck yes, please give me this info."
But see, look, here's the difference between Germany and Italy. So Germany was like, this bike goes fast and you're going to lay on it. So
Yeah.
let us give them a padded place for their testicles to rest upon the gas tank.
Yeah.
Whereas Ducati's like, we must torture
So,
them,
this-
torture them.
you can't ride them long.
this
you can ride
be-
them hard.
This became the K1100.
Right.
But the K1 is
But
dope.
the
dude.
K1 is fucking insane. It is a Tron bike.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like this is Tron
great color
personified
scheme, too.
And
It came in blue,
Yeah,
too.
the blue one was way
because
better.
okay, now before we go any further, look at that bike right there that Phil has up, and look at a Ducati 900 Supersport
Yeah, they're close.
I'd say pass. I'd
or
say
a
pass. So.
or a Passo.
But here's the kind of funny part, though, is like
and
all the times you look at Craigslist and you see all the dudes that spray painted their fucking
Yep.
swing arms
Yeah.
and match the wheels.
Yep.
And you're
Oh,
like,
yeah, yeah,
fuck,
yeah.
even BMW did it back then.
Oh yeah.
but
There's a long tradition of that squirrel fuckery. Yeah.
I had a very close passing to owning a K1, and to be fair, drink. I would love to have a K1.
There it is.
Yeah.
That's the one.
Oh,
the blue one.
absolutely.
Oh, that's a good look too.
Absolutely.
That reminds me of my new bike.
What era? What year?
Oh, your RSV4?
What year?
This is 1993.
Yeah.
Okay, because that looks very 90s.
This is very,
this
very
is
nice.
Death by
The
90s.
color,
yeah.
the color is perfect.
Because even the
This is
RT
Death by 90s.
the RTP version of this bike literally was almost the exact same thing.
So, having actually ridden a couple of these, I got into a light argument with a seller. If you look at the back of the motorcycle, you're going to see two sponson boxes that have keyholes on them. The bitch pad / velocity cover nacelle
yeah.
does come off. There's two screws, and you can take that rear. Where'd it go? You can take that rear section off.
Well, no, we're not
And-
looking at grease.
Hold on, settle down.
Settle down.
All right, here we go.
Where's Chris?
Right. So when you're
Settle
looking
down.
when you're looking at this bike, you can see this bike has, strangely enough, no bitch pad.
Right.
Yeah. So there's no place for you to sit on the back and let you take the cover off. And I was looking at one of these in the delightful Ronald McDonald color scheme in about 2000, and the guy was like, "Look, I'm taking a bath on this, but I'll sell it to you for $7,000."
Yep.
And it had been sitting for about 7 years.
Yep.
I think it had like 1,200 miles on it, and then it was parked.
The reality is, it literally is just a K1100
Yeah.
with aerodynamics.
Yeah. And so when I opened the little door at the back of the bike, see the little hatch back there? Mm-hmm. There's a little tiny hatch. And when I opened that up, there was exactly enough room in there for 4 packs of cigarettes.
Well,
And I was like,
What's the?
and I opened up the one on the other side. There was enough room for one small bottle of Jägermeister.
So what's the?
and I went, this is a German touring bike.
What's
Yeah.
that? What's the Galois?
those are the
Galois.
Frenchy cigarettes.
The French cigarettes.
But
Yeah.
so does the back thing that is not like the butt pad?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Does that flip up and become a backrest
No,
for the
it
back?
comes
No.
off and you leave it in your garage.
No.
Oh, okay.
Where-
Would have been cooler if it flipped up. So
No,
the person
the
could, like
Back pad of the seat remains yellow the whole way back.
Oh, yeah.
This is the most inefficient German motorcycle.
Oh, I argue that they said it was one of the most aerodynamically efficient motorcycles ever built.
Aerodynamic, yes,
yeah.
but not efficient in that you can put somebody behind you.
Oh, yeah.
Well, nobody
Right.
bought this to fucking run. Like,
Oh yeah, there are very few of them, and like I said, I almost bought one because the guy was like, "Yeah, I can get you one for 1,500." I went, "Fuck, I'm in."
Yeah.
And he never contacted me again.
No, they are what they are.
And it is
it's
what
a K100.
It's nothing special, but it is what it
That's
is.
very
fine.
special, man.
Here's,
I'd love
here's
to see that.
something that you might not have picked up on. It says ABS on the side.
It does.
There too.
Oh
Yep.
yeah,
It
no
does.
the
This
K.
is a very technically
Oh no,
advanced
the K1100s had
They did.
ABS.
Yep, they did.
And I had one of those weird, stupid ass blue and white K1100s,
K1100.
special edition blue and whites that had the ABS.
Yep.
And you know what that told me? The ABS failed.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
guaranteed.
That was very famous for having multiple pulses of ABS.
Right.
It
per
was.
minute.
Because it had this big, stupid piston on the left, on the brake side.
Yeah, at the same time, you could have got the Ronald McDonald tribute bike. You could have gotten this
Yeah.
at the dealership for
The-
1/3 as much money,
Yeah.
right? And it was just as much as good of a motorcycle.
And I'm not
Yeah.
going to lie, that
Yeah.
the K75 is the ultimate motorcycle. We talked about this at...
Unless you need handling.
We talked about no the K75 handles amazing.
I could not disagree more
you
strongly.
disagree.
I do.
I love the K70. The
I
K100 motor kind of is
totally
not good.
disagree.
But the K75, I personally feel is perfection.
I don't.
Well, I mean, it's subjective.
It is
Tom's riding
subjective,
style is
It
definitely
is
different than most of
subjective.
ours.
I love the K75.
Yeah,
three cylinder flat motor. I love that motor.
Yep. And I feel like every time I've ridden a K75, it's had the exact same symptom, is that the front forks were made of silly string.
Huh.
And that when you're going into a turn, the bike has a tendency to wander in the turn because its forks need to be about 3 times thicker than they are, or be braced to infinity.
That is fair.
That's point to that. I've never known anybody in my life who owns a K100 or a K75 that doesn't have God's biggest fork brace between the forks. So if it was good, they wouldn't have needed to have that.
Well,
yeah.
I also
But-
wondered though, like German roads are so good that I wonder if
That's
sometimes
true.
they don't make them just like they're like, well, we have no
Well,
bumps.
I just think in that year, 37 millimeter forks were huge.
Yeah.
And they were like, 37 millimeter forks, those are gigantic.
Gigantic, right.
Nobody will ever need anything bigger than that.
The alternate to that, though, is that we have always gone with, look, you have to modify a bike to make it yours and
Right.
make it great.
Yeah.
So a K75 with a fork brace.
I think a R6 of any generation will spank a K75.
But
that's the funny
of
part.
any generation.
Yeah.
When you look
well.
back to all the
Yeah.
vintage like power bikes,
Right.
all the K whatever H's and all this stuff, like they're like it had 90 horsepower, and you're like, yeah, and 21 millimeter forks. Like if you hit the brakes too hard, they would bend.
Everybody wanks off to the fucking
I will remind you that the R6 entered the chat in 1998.
So
Okay, which was 3 years after that piece of rolling McDonald's shit, right? That was out there. So 3 whole years later, the R6 showed up.
And the R1 and the R1 was like everybody lost their shit. Like that
Exactly.
bike was like, oh my god, I can go 180 miles an hour now. Like that was insane.
so
Yeah, there's a lot of things that happened in the early 90s for suspension, frames, and handling and all
Glad
kinds of
there's
really
no
great shit.
bikes like that now.
So, what year's your Chuono?
2016.
How you liking it?
Well, I've old banned the fuck out of it.
What?
So I've added 2-inch bar risers to it.
Wait. It already had high bars.
No, I changed it out.
Should just put apes on it.
No, but I mean, like, dude, I'm telling
like the
you,
cool guys.
I got what
The cool guys.
Yeah, no, but I mean, it literally it's 2 inches.
Did you put a
up
top
now.
case on it yet?
No, I'm not doing that. I do have a little sport bike bag on the back so I can take some stuff, but the 2-inch like the kind of just adventure type bar risers, so I was
Right.
able to pull them back and put them right where I needed them.
Okay.
I have Night Engineering 1-inch peg lowers coming, and that bike it already is so fucking comfortable. It's stupid. It is. I mean, it feels like my Africa Twin, but with like 1,000.
So you
more
raised the
horsepower.
handlebars.
Yes.
You lowered the pegs.
Yeah, gives my little knees a little bit of less bend.
Yep.
Should put one of those pet carriers on the back.
you know,
Take a random raccoon or possum or a chicken with you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Here, find a little not quite dead roadkill, take it home for Amy to resuscitate.
because
We love you, Steve.
So I'm been getting more and more into the. Obviously, I've been
it's-
fucking around and doing some stuff with it.
Okay, Aprilia is its own cult.
It's a fine motorcycle.
Well, no, absolutely. I love the RSV4.
I'm buying a flagpole and getting an Italian flag now. It's going to be amazing.
You have the RSV4. There was a young lady in New Orleans that had an RSV4. I've done the service on it and everything. It's because I'm the only person stupid enough to be able to work on Italian bikes. And
Manual tells you what to do. There's no special test.
oh no, there isn't. It's a Rotax motor. We're not gonna lie.
I've already
Proud of yourself or ashamed of yourself?
Right.
Well, lapsed. I'm lapsed Ducatisti.
No, but it's going to be a lot
They're
of taking pictures when you take stuff apart.
They're really nice bikes that a lot of people look over because Aprilia is not a well-known brand.
And beg to differ, but all right.
Oh no!
Yeah, I was gonna say.
No. I'm not going to beg to differ.
27 world championships?
Yeah. I don't
but,
know.
But the reality
Valentino
is,
Rossi?
But the reality is, most people when they think Italian motorcycles, they think Ducati,
Oh.
and Aprilia gets overlooked.
I think there's
I'm
the
with you
two
on
or-
that, Tom.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I might second that.
I own Aprilia. I have owned Ducati.
Right.
I have owned a lot of Italian motorcycles, and Aprilia kind of gets glossed over, and
Yeah.
it's a shame because Aprilia makes great motorcycles.
They don't have a big market presence in the United States.
No, they
but
don't.
They are a world-class motorcycle.
Exactly.
Yeah, I would say Ducati's marketing department goes after the
and
United States a touch
I
more.
love.
Here's the thing: a lot of Ducati guys, not my friend Mark, but everybody else,
Right.
A lot of those guys are just like, "Hey, look at me, I got a Ducati."
Well, yeah.
I think a lot of dudes with Aprilias, they're like, "I love the power, the speed."
Yeah.
It's more about the performance.
Well,
of the bike. I mean,
'cause
don't get me
they
wrong. There's a lot of
make-
Ducati guys that like that too.
I have the SR50 out in the garage that no motor and shit, and because that's my first Aprilia.
It's pretty much the same. bike.
But Aprilia makes great motorcycles that everybody goes, who the fuck is Aprilia?
Since 1992, Aprilia has had 54 world titles.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, no, it's on my tank.
Well, that's the other thing is Aprilia loves to try to market.
Yeah, you're gonna have to get a new
And it
tank
fails.
if they win another
I
one.
know.
Hey,
I think they ship you a new sticker.
Hey, Phil. What do you think about the Mana?
Oh, I still to this day, I'm going to tell you, I side with Steve Hofford on this. It was an amazing experiment.
Yeah.
That it was the best executed automatic transmission motorcycle that I have ridden to this day, shy of the Goldwing CVT.
Yeah.
Or the DCT.
But
So shy of the Goldwing DCT, the Mana is the 850cc Mana, because when you crack that throttle on the 850 Mana,
It's manic.
you'd better fucking hang on.
Oh, dude. I was out, so I'm getting used to this thing, right?
Yeah.
First of all, the sound, the V4, it has a gear whine that almost sounds like a fucking supercharger.
Yeah.
And a MotoGP bike, it's fucking amazing. Like, I could just sit there and just be like, brr,
It's
brr,
the
just-
term that they used when Honda came out with all their V4s was the iron fist in a velvet glove.
yeah.
Yeah, that's about right.
Right.
But so I was out. I was.
Don't tempt me with a good time.
So
Settle down, Sean.
so Aprilia is like if you take a Ducati and you take an SV and you want something in the middle between Ducati and Suzuki SV650.
I don't think so at all.
SV1000, you end up with an Aprilia.
Dude, I don't know. I've ridden Ducatis.
Right.
Yeah.
I've ridden 900cc Ducatis,
Yeah.
1200cc Ducatis.
Yeah.
This thing is a completely different fucking animal.
Absolutely.
And it's like a two-stroke because you go and from like 0 to 7,000, 7,500, it's like an aggressive
Yep.
motorcycle. But then if you don't get out of it from 7,500 to infinity, it's like, oh my fucking Jesus. And you hold on to the thing.
Yep.
Like,
Yep.
I can't even go over 7,000 RPMs until I get tank grips on the side of the tank because I was really afraid to fall off the back of the fucking thing.
I had
Right.
an Aprilia RS250
Yep. Oh God, yes.
Yeah.
that I bought after it had been crashed.
Right.
Oh, whoa,
And it
good.
had no lighting because that's not how you.
Because it's not
That's
how
not
you
how they
buy
sold
an
them.
RS250.
But you could go to the dealership and just buy an RS250 two-stroke and go race.
Right.
So I was like, I'm going to do that. That sounds fun. And then I started riding it on the street.
Cup Challenge.
This little bike never, ever, ever. I don't think I ever got to the red line.
Right.
It just revved forever. And on top of that, that little liquid-cooled 250 motor and 6-speed gearbox was perfectly matched so that you could just go work your way through first gear and then go second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth and be going 100 miles an hour.
Well, dude, that's the thing. I haven't had a bike in a long time.
Yeah.
Like, even my Z900 wasn't like this.
Right.
No.
Like, in second gear, you could be going 100, and it doesn't even sound like you're, like, it's...
I
like
have
nothing. Like-
I have briefly bounced off Bimota,
Yep.
MV Agusta,
Right.
and all the other crazy little Italian niche bikes.
Right.
And Sleepy is finally like, oh my God, I found this amazing motorcycle.
No, I'm right with you. Like, I've done
Yeah.
the top 4 brands
Yeah.
for so long
Yeah.
that now it's like, okay, I can't cheat on my wife, so I'm going to cheat on America and
It's-
fuck all
and
the
it's-
Italian motorcycles I can do now. So
And you have kind of done the thing. So
yeah, now I got to
coming from the back end of
When I
this,
have
because
all-
I cut my teeth on Bimota, I cut my teeth on Triumph, I cut my teeth on Ducati, Moto Guzzi, and the Agusta, and coming backwards and finding the V-Strom and the SV650 and everything else that can perform but doesn't have the same feel. You have hit the RSV4, which is the ultimate of if you want to be a crazy meth addict, this is the bike you want to own.
Well, no, I mean, like, dude, there's more to it than that. Like,
Yeah.
it's all about the cornering and the
Yeah,
handling, all that
absolutely,
stuff. Like, I
'cause-
read every fucking article that you could read because I'm obsessive compulsive idiot.
Absolutely.
I spent like a
Absolutely.
week absorbing every fucking
Yeah.
piece of information. I've already know how to do
You've
the
got
valves,
the inverted.
everything. Yeah,
You've
whole
got the
thing.
inverted shocks. You've got the radial mounted brakes. You've got all of the things you would ever want in a race bike. But Aprilia went, you know what? let's make this race bike and just put it on the fucking street because some dumb shit like you is going to buy this thing and try to drive it on the street.
But check this out. So it came with this this up map thing.
Yeah.
It's basically
Like
like a
your
Baz
BMW,
or
yes.
whatever. It's all
Yeah,
the
yeah.
same kind of shit. But I like how they do this. They're already getting into the market. So like you get one tune for free.
Yeah.
Right. I like that.
They're like, hey, taste this.
you get
what do you think?
one tune
Yeah.
for free.
Yeah.
I'm glad I didn't buy it. That little fucking thing's $800.
It's $800.
Yeah.
it's $800. It's pro mode.
With
Yeah.
the BMW you have bought and the Aprilia you have bought,
know.
you have gotten the upgrades for free.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Both times.
Which means that both times you have gone, I have gotten the ultimate motorcycle. And my answer to that literally is yes, you did.
No, I love them. I neither of those
Yeah.
are going anywhere, man.
No,
They're
you
amazing bikes.
you are at, because like I said, I cut my teeth on a lot of Italian motorcycles and European motorcycles, and they feel great, but their performance is a lot lacking when it comes to the Japanese, unless you get this.
Yeah, this my argument with this is that everything about this is every bit as good as any V4 Interceptor I've ever owned,
Yeah.
as any Japanese motorcycle I've ever owned.
Try to find a bad review of this bike.
It's hard. It's almost impossible.
You can't, because the people that want to give this thing a bad review can't afford to ride this thing.
No, but it is pretty crazy that the new ones are almost $22,000 and stuff like that.
They're
it's not
amazing.
cheap.
And what's changed really between your bike and the current generation is really just the firmware.
Yeah.
Well, it's TFT.
Yeah.
That and like they honestly. This one is more racy than the
It
new
is.
one
Yeah.
in some ways. Like you can, because like I've seen
So-
the new one turned into a more of a touring bike,
Absolutely.
and it kind of looks right.
So my
sport touring.
my takeaway from this is that in 2 years, Sleepy's going to own a Cesis and a Bimota.
No, I want
I
to go.
totally disagree.
I'm already eyeballing MV Agustas. I'm going to go for the trifecta of fucking weird shit.
The MV,
Oh, yeah.
the MV Agusta 4 is actually a really good.
No, I like the Brutale.
Do you- no,
Brutal. That's
you
what I was
know-
going to say.
Fucking-
If we're going to do this,
Wait,
I'm there with you, brother.
So
I'm
you
there with
know,
you,
You got to go Brutale.
You know
I'm
the-
pretty much there with you.
you know the conversation we have about the CB354, where it has
Yeah.
4 independent exhausts. So the MV Agusta, Brutale, and I think the MV Agusta, they have the 4 independent exhausts.
the hype
1000
organs,
cc.
man.
That's what makes your pants moist.
That's what makes your pants tighter.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So
But listen, I'm not gonna lie, dude. I don't know how many times this last week at like 10:30, I was like
Right.
going to get a soda or something, and I'm like, I wonder if the bike's okay. And then I stood there looking at the BMW and that, and I'm just like, wow, okay. And then I thought back to all those carburetors that left my possession to get these bikes, and I'm like,
right.
what a good fucking decision that
What
was.
a great decision that was.
Because this thing has no carburetors.
0 carburetors. I promise you. The other day, I took the Thunderbird out of the shop. And I was
yeah.
like, I'm just going to fire it up and see what's going on.
It got there, right? A little bit.
well,
No.
no, it
No,
didn't.
it's still
It
a
didn't.
2-cylinder.
It's
It's
It needs him to tickle
33%.
Tickle
When-
that little one.
Tickle.
I think. Yeah.
when
No.
when
Yeah.
that bike
Is that what you do once you get the float balls off? The middle one?
finger it, yeah.
So once you get the middle float ball off.
No, I had the tank off. It's very easy to get off the tank, and you have access. It's not that bad.
To the
compared
tops
like
of
a
the carbs.
Suzuki. Yeah, well, you can get the carbs off from that point.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not that bad.
It'll be no problem.
No.
Oh,
I'll
okay.
come help Tom.
Probably
Oh,
2.5
yeah.
hours.
No.
Tell me, I'll prep everything and get him, and he can do it. That's fine. I'll come and do
yeah,
it. No
all right.
problem.
Dude,
No problem.
okay, Sleepy.
This thing was so
Sleepy,
mad at me. That motorcycle hated me.
I have owned that bike.
Yes.
Like, legitimately, I have owned that bike. I know exactly what's wrong with it.
Okay.
I know exactly what it takes to fix it.
Well, it shouldn't take much because it was
And-
running in November perfectly.
And
it's only been 5 months.
I literally gave mine back. Is that an 848?
No, it's an F3. So it's 675cc Rotax triple.
Holy
look at those exhaustuses.
Shit, let's go.
Oh wow.
Fuck, I am in this game. How much am I in on this?
$8,000.
Gee, you know what?
That's Vespa money.
I will donate.
That is Vespa money.
That looks comfortable.
I have plasma. I will give to this game. Let's go. Let's go right now.
I mean, even when you go short on an MV Agusta,
'Cause it-
even when you truly buy the entry level,
Yeah.
your
MV
first
Agusta.
MV Agusta, My first MV Agusta. That's what you're talking about. An 11-year-old bike,
Oh yeah.
675 3-cylinder that just looks like sex.
So find me a Caesars.
I wouldn't do it, and I fucking hate those bikes. I fucking hate them. I can't even stand looking at them. My computer battery died, so we can't even look at those anymore.
What are we calling this exhaust on this thing?
Triple.
It's a triple GP, a 3-stack GP.
Yeah, I don't know.
I like it. Oh, and my computer died. That's it.
That's all right. We're at 212.
We're at
with the
220.
limited.
That was a whole podcast.
We are a whole
That was a whole
podcast.
That's it.
There you go.
Anybody got any special events coming up or anything we should know about?
Do we have any jokes?
No, wait, that's Smith's department.
Right, yeah. We don't want to
Chris
step
is
on his
away
toes.
at comic writing camp.
Do we
right
have
now,
any
so-
hate mail, but you can't read it?
No,
so.
we actually have zero hate mail. We have no hate mail
would
whatsoever.
hope so.
Our podcast listeners are satisfied.
If-
we have
if-
new podcast listeners. We have new Patreons.
covered this.
Everything's moving
Amazing.
along
Yeah, yeah,
smoothly.
yeah.
It's
Thank you,
very
thank you.
nice. It is remarkably
How many days till Barber?
Ooh, that's a good one.
Should I be searching for
Yeah.
an RV campsite?
Wait, is anybody going to Barber?
Jeremy came down from Michigan today, picked up his buddy, picked up his buddy's GTV, and they fucked right off. They didn't come into the podcast.
Right.
He's like, I didn't bring enough mushrooms.
Do I need to start looking for a campsite
No.
for Barber?
No, if I'm going to go to Barber, it's going to be one of those things that's going to be like, "Huh, fuck it, we'll go to Barber tomorrow.
Because Kentucky Corner.
We should just get plane tickets,
The
fly
Kentucky-
in, I'll fly for a day, just do Barber for a day.
Birmingham.
Or two.
No,
Whatever.
no. We.
It's not
I mean,
bad.
Because the
can't you get it's Alabama? Can't you get there for like
just fly-
$7 or
yeah,
something?
no,
Like it can't be.
the-
much.
Fly into
Ken-
Atlanta. You can fly into Atlanta cheap and drive it over from there. It's not bad.
Because the
Yeah.
Kentucky guys
That's a
do
really
throw a
good idea.
badge.
I would like to experience it.
Because
I don't think,
Spirit and all those guys fly to Atlanta for like $12.
that's what I'm saying.
right.
Yeah.
This is a backpack over your shoulder fucking run.
Yeah.
So,
No luggage.
This is get the rental car.
so
shit.
anyway,
Yeah.
if you're a podcast
I'd be
listener
into
and you
that.
have a good argument or a good hookup for us to go to Barber, other than camping in Bucky's parking lot outside the gate,
Couldn't we do a talk? Could we
Can
possibly
we
do a
be-
podcast?
Could we be the most attended seminar at
Because
Barber?
Because oh my god.
No, there's that guy talking about Bing carburetors that gets about 2,000
Oh, really?
So yeah,
I'll race him one.
Right.
Yeah, that's it. I'll
Like,
do my ethanol
if
talk.
if you want us to be,
I'll do my ethanol speech.
your
Sure.
guest.
I'll blow him out of the
at
water.
Barber,
Yeah.
please by all means reach out to us. We will absolutely.
You know what? And if you're on the planning commission for Barber Vintage Days, let me tell you, I give a 40-minute seminar on ethanol can kill you.
Oh no, it was great.
And-
The last time
and
you did it, you
Sean-
had some guys that were a little combative,
Yeah.
and then you just shut them down with facts, and they were like,
I promise you, bring me your worst.
And
I'll give you 45 minutes
Look.
on ethanol,
Yeah.
and I promise your biggest skeptics will be entertained.
Yeah.
I've been working on this for 10 years.
Bobby Starbucks. Bobby Starbucks. Gonna show up.
It's a tight,
drink ethanol. You're full of
Legit.
shit.
I got a
It's
word for you, mister.
it's a tight 45.
So,
right.
so legit, Sean and I will come and talk about leather culture at Barber if you need us to.
Right.
Just pay our
Yeah.
fucking way and,
Yeah.
and give us booze and food.
Yeah, I'll be
Yep.
happy to do my ethanol seminar.
Right.
Oh, leather and ethanol.
Right.
and
Love
Leather
that.
and ethanol.
That's a band
Love
playing
that.
We'll
Saturday
fucking
at the
work
gun
it out.
shop.
Is
We
that
will
a-
work
They're
this
kind of a
shit
goth.
out.
They're a mix
Or-
of like velvet
hey,
goth.
hey,
and
Or like a
Velvet
buddy
Underground.
cop show.
Leather and ethanol would be a great cop
like
show.
Keggy and Lacey.
Yes. Yeah.
Bow, 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 bow.
Where is
You know, I'm not such a sweet thing.
Hey, you know what? Hey, Phil.
I want to do everything.
with
Hey.
leather and ethanol.
Hey,
What a beautiful feeling.
Oh, dude.
Oh, this is bad. We're off
You
the
gotta
rails.
mix. You gotta mix.
I think that was Phil playing us out.
on that
On that
note,
note, everybody remember to ride fast and take chances. Place out here, sleepy.
ba, 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 ba,